Everybody, man, it's been a very, very long day. Coop, how you doing, brother?
I'm almost done. All right, like it's been such a trying day.
I'm sure people are laughing at us in the post when we said that we're going to be on at 5:30, but y'all know life happens, traffic happens. It's like 100 degrees here in Atlanta. Want to welcome everybody into the room. I don't know if everybody's getting their notifications yet because we haven't gotten anybody in the room yet, but
I got mine.
I'm sure they're coming. Okay, got your notification?
I think that says. Hold on.
Hold on, let's see. I don't know.
Yes, it's according to hip hop.
Okay, there we go. We got our first person in here. Shout out to the person that came in the room. Let
It's Terminator.
yourself be known.
It was Terminator.
Was it Terminator? Okay.
It was Terminator.
Cool. Well, we got a lot to get to. Okay. Everybody came in at once on my end. You know what? I think my computer's lagging. I've been having all kind of janky camera issues today, but we're gonna get that fixed tomorrow.
We having traffic issues, heat issues.
Yeah.
Flash laptop issues, light issues, download issues.
Right.
Like, it made me log in when I got on the different software. That's what took me so long to even get you back. It made me reset all my passwords.
Crazy, man. All kind of stuff. Had to update things or whatever. Shout out to everybody coming in the room. We got a lot to talk about today. Got some music that we didn't get to Friday. From Lupe to the Westside Boogie. The Game dropped his song yesterday, Violence, with Hit Boy. That was the one that he previewed on Sway a couple of weeks back, or maybe a week or so back. We're going to talk about this notion that people are saying that about Drake and his album being the end of rap music or something like that. I want to put some of these things in perspective because I think that a lot of narratives get out there in the mainstream, and it's kind of our job as the grassroots of hip-hop to actually check some of these things. Speaking of which, and I don't want to be messy or anything, and I hope people didn't think I was coming from that place. I just wanted to show the examples of how many Eminem origin stories there were. And I even learned some things in my research. I don't know how he was discovered, to be honest. I think that the only thing that really makes sense is some of the stuff that Wendy Day was saying. How they kind of put together that Rap Olympics event in '97 to showcase him and his skill set. And also at the same time, as she was saying out of her mouth, this is not my mouth because I know people are quick to call me a racist, the industry was not, they were hesitant to actually sign off on a white rapper. And I think that event made them more comfortable because it was showing that, not only can he hold his own, they rock with him on a skill level. So, you know what I think? Go ahead. I have a theory based on just those foundational, premises.
I hate to say it. Here's what I always respect about you when you debate me, Mike, and it's been this way for a long time. You don't debate the way that I do, but you are a very good stat checker and fact checker, and you like to let the facts do a lot of the talking for you. I like to let my intuition run a lot of my mind and my soul, and when I hear Wendy Day speak on these matters, that's the one that kind of hits closest to home because it hit the hip-hop lover in me. Like, I was thinking about the type of hip-hop head that I was around that time. And it's like, well, yeah, that's kind of how you get people to buy in to that piece of the culture at the time. So, excellent research and work by you.
I was wrong about the Be Please being, before the Slim Shady LP. Now, that I was wrong about.
Small potatoes. Because I think you're talking about is the ushering of a sound and a movement.
Yeah.
And Bitch Please still does that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's still everything that you say it is. It's just the timestamp on it was just a little incorrect. But
no, I agree with you too when it comes to that buy-in. Because what got me was when he got on the anthem, Sway and Tex record, and how he killed it. And that it was because at the time I heard My Name Is and all that stuff, and I want to say I might have heard Role Model. But for me, And especially in that era, the cannabis era, anybody who was around in the late
Right.
90s understands that when you get on a posse song, then you kind of get, different levels of credibility. And yeah, that's what got me is when he got on the anthem with everybody in the world on there and he did his thing.
It's 1996, okay? Lyrically, it's okay to be outside in 96. You know what I'm saying, Mike? Like being outside in 96 lyrically is where you want to be. You have Black Thought, Andre 3000, Nas, Jay-Z, Wu-Tang Clan, Big, Tupac, Redman. It's a glorious time to be alive. You're a lyricist.
Yeah.
And so the way that Wendy is explaining how it's skewed to get you to buy into that, because much like, Sway and Tech was, you're buying, well, mine wasn't any man off the sound bombing. Like, because I had heard plenty of stuff too. And I'm going to tell you something, even though I often bring up the whole Rap Olympics thing, Mike, I wasn't really sold on him because of the Rap Olympics. But when I heard Any Man, I was like, I think he just made one of the 2 or 3 best songs on what I think is a classic soundtrack. The only song that I think definitively is better is 199.
Ooh, 199 was crazy. I love that record.
Yeah, that's the only record that's better than Any Man on there, correct?
On Sound Bombing 2. Correct us if we're wrong, folks out there.
I mean, you got something better than that on there? I think there was a Pharoah Monch joint on there, I feel like, but it wasn't Any Man, though. So
what Mos Def record was up? Because I remember the B-Boy, what's it called? You know what I'm talking about. With Mos Def, Mad Skills. Somebody help me in the chat.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the joint. Isn't
B-Boy Document. B-Boy Document.
Yeah, the B-Boy Document. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was the B-side to 199.
Mm-hmm. That, you know what? Funny enough, that's the record that sold me on Mos Def.
Wow,
those things
I
were
was sold on Mos Def early.
No, I thought that was the first time I might have heard Mos Def.
Speaking of which, we gotta discuss that Black Star thing too.
Yeah, I need to add that to the topics. Yeah, man, that's a really big discussion and a really good discussion.
It is.
Because again, even with the platform that it's on, it made me forget it for this discussion. Unfortunately,
that's one of the problematic things about it that I was saying we need to discuss.
We got to talk about that. But yeah, just to breeze through this Eminem thing real quick, because I know some people in the chat are saying that, what did I prove? It's not about proving anything. It's just the only thing I proved in that moment is there's so many different stories. And so I don't know really. And like you said in the last episode, that's actually a problem. Our position here and what our position has become is to document things and document things properly. And I remember you said in the previous show that, the unsigned hype and the source did it. And Wendy Day sitting here saying that didn't work. So we had to put on the Rap Olympics. So it's like, I know you've heard these things from places. I've heard other things. It's probably the most, I don't want to say problematic, but it's just, it has I don't think there's anybody that has this many origin stories. And it's odd.
No, it's like Redman's origin story. I was following MPMD on the tour bus, on the back of their tour bus in a hoopty. Factual story about how Redman got on.
Yeah.
How not get on. MC Search. Faith Newman, A&R at Columbia Records.
Yeah.
Factual research. How did Biggie Smalls get on? Puff.
Yeah. No, Biggie even said, now unsigned hype worked for him. Because, look, Big was working with...
Puff BM was the one that was like, no, we're going to dress him up and make him nice. That wasn't even Puff idea. That was Misa.
Well, even if we rewind before that, right? You got Maddie C at the source. You know what I'm saying? That put Big on the unsigned hype. And we can go even before that when he was working with Mr. C, who sent him to Maddie C, did the write-up. Puff was going to the source as he normally does for the unsigned hype and finds Big. Boom. No convoluted stories there. Man there with the super chat says M was pushed over talent that was better, period. Well, he had a star power, and that happens a lot when, people have star power. But again, I don't want to make it sound like he can't spit, because he can spit. But I just think it's it's tough to document things that I don't even know what the truth is. Because I don't know if you saw another interview that I sent you from Wendy Day. She was on somebody's podcast.
I saw it.
And she said, what did she say? She kind of confirmed one of the things you said. She said, in M's book, the story kind of goes this way, but the way I remembered it was Dr. Dre heard M on the Wake Up Show and then went and got him.
Okay.
She said that. So it's like...
That's what I'm saying. That sounds more real, doesn't it?
And Dre says something else. Because, yeah, and then this whole intern story, and I don't know, man. I don't know what to believe, and I guess that's all I'm saying.
No, I think that was, all jokes aside, I think that's kind of where you made your point. It's like, well, Coop, how can you say all this when I can go pull all of this from everywhere? It's like, well, you were right.
Because you got times where Dre said he heard him first. Then you got times where Jimmy Iovine might say Dre heard him first. And then Dre will say Iovine heard him first. Then they'll say it was Iovine's nephew that found him. And then it's an intern. And then it's the Wake Up Show story. It's like, what?
I literally want to blame it on the Chronic and not the album. Like, if you've ever been in LA and you've smoked what they call the Chronic, it can make you forget. That's the only thing we can blame it on at this point. Is it the Chronic?
Well,
like
you know what?
LA
Funny
Chronic?
You say that. Funny you say that, because respectfully, Snoop Dogg has a whole lot of different versions of that story with him and Nas. I've heard like him, Nas, and Tupac. I've heard like 3 different stories from the same person.
Definitely the Chronic with him.
007 with the super chat. Shout out to 007. He says, Irv was on point in regards to Drake. We need a new DMX. What Drake can do is dangerous regarding shifting music and what's deemed hip-hop machine-wise. You want to get into that?
Is that where we're going, man?
Do we ever go in there first?
No, I mean, since we're doing all the big sellers, let's go ahead and run down the big sellers list. We got Eminem done. Let's go ahead and cover Drake.
Okay. Well,
First of all, this album, hold on. First of all, this album is terrible, and I'm sick of women. Sick of women telling me, well, Coop, you're a man.
You need to put on your sensitive side to listen to this Drake album. That's what they tell me.
I'm very emotional to hear people tell it. All right?
Look, all right, so I think this whole conversation started on Joe Budden's podcast. He had Vince Staples on the phone and whatnot. And I pulled this article from Hip-Hop DX. They were covering it. And so basically, they're saying Drake's house-leaning Honestly Nevermind album sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. Not really, but whatever. Which has resulted in all kinds of controversial takes. Vince Staples and Joe Budden are 2 people that don't mince words. On their Long Beach native, the Long Beach native joined the latest episode of the Joe Budden podcast for an interesting discussion surrounding the 6 Guys' latest offering. Said, do you think Drake putting out a dance album gets us closer to eliminating rap music as a whole? Budden asked. Staples quickly brought up his 2017 Big Fish theory and how the experimental project received tons of backlash from fans. However, he does feel that the internet takes over the customer's experiences are similar, and it has broken down the regional barriers of music, of course. And then he says, music has always been very visual, Staples responds. When I think about artists, visually things pop up. Michael Jackson's The Moonwalk. Tupac, it's a lot of enthusiastic things, excuse me. Of course, it's the music, but things were visual for people. When you think about where music is headed, everyone on Instagram and everyone looks the same, moves the same, dressed the same, and talks the same. The genre shit is gonna have to go out the window eventually. It's too hard to separate the culture because the internet has to kind of push on everything has to push everything into the same little bubble. Let me get to the super chat from Blue Collar Hustler, and then I'm gonna let you go. Blue Collar Hustler says, Coop and Mike, please check out the new EP of Nas Bridge podcast. He spoke to RZA. It was a great It was great. RZA said that Jizza and Ray fought over who got a Nas verse. I bet that is dope. We're gonna check that out. We got to talk about the bridge. I still haven't really seen the bridge like that.
Me either.
It's shameful on my part.
Want me to go to that right quick? You want me to go to the super chat, or you want me to go to the Drake issue?
Go to the Drake thing and this whole thing about rap music being eliminated because Drake puts out an album.
Okay, this is where people come up with conspiracy theories about media propaganda. He don't run it like that. He hasn't made anything dope in hip-hop terms in a very long time.
Facts.
So the fact that you are posing this question is speaking to the machine possibly running this, which is what people have a problem with. And for somebody like Joe Budden, who I think, Mike, we both find him to be a credible MC and journalist, correct?
Yes, definitely.
He's a credible MC and journalist. How many people do we say that about? Nobody. Right.
Yeah.
So when he is forging that question, it makes me question everything too, because it's like, because of the person whose integrity I trust.
Not to mention, this is a person who threw out like 3 diss records at Drake before he retired.
This too is true. I wasn't even trying to, we don't even have to veer into that spectrum of it. We can keep it on his media personality interview.
Right. I'm just saying he doesn't have ties to the guy like that, so it almost makes you feel like, damn, where is this really coming from?
Well, I mean, no, just because, look at the Migos situation that happened. That's what I mean. You know, like, he has done stuff like that. He is kind of like true to his form, sometimes for better, for worse. Like, he's had run-ins with Migos. He's had run-ins with Raekwon. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
He's always kind of spoke his truth, whether he's been right or wrong. Where's the truth?
And that's what I love about Joe Budden.
Where's the evidence that this question should even be asked is what I'm going to ask right back. It's like when you put something, like I keep saying the thing about the evidence, because all jokes aside, it's like, if you take something to a court of law, Mike.
Yeah.
In order to win a case, in order for your opinion to become fact and get documented, you have to supply evidence. Not opinions, not emotions, not thoughts. Facts.
You're right. And the fact of the matter is, we're not going to put this on the internet. We're not going to put this on, I guess, rap music being confined. The music just isn't it. We didn't say this about Andre when he made The Love Below. We wanted to hear Andre rap, but when we didn't, it was like, you know what? We got a great album. Same thing with Lauryn Hill. Now, if we got an album that was miseducation quality and people were coming up with these notions, understood. But this ain't moving nothing. It's not.
That's what I'm saying. This is what I mean about credibility and integrity, like in the quality of the product and the work. And, we have espoused many thoughts about Andre 3000 on here. I'm going to tell you something that stands out in my mind, and this is what I mean. I remember Mary J. Blige being on 106 in Park, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And literally talking about The Love Below and saying, like, Andre, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? That's a cosign when you were stepping outside of your realm. When Mary J. Blige goes on live television and feels compelled to talk about you and your album randomly. It's
great songwriting. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, no one is saying that about this record.
Nobody's doing that. Like Mary J. Blige isn't running up this strip. No, nobody of that stature, that quality. You get what I'm saying? That exists in that realm. Like, that's Mary in her prime at the peak of her power saying, like, oh, this brother's doing something special in my realm right now.
Let's get some thumbs up in the chat, because I want to get more and more people in here. And if we got some Drake fans that might want to come up in here and plead their case, I'm down with that too. Rodriguez says this album is for men who close the fridge with their hips. Okay.
That's
okay. Listen. And again,
what about if you like karate kick the door closed sometimes, like I do, like old school Bruce Lee stuff? I still
that's a Wu-Tang close right there.
I still do that.
This is what I want to say. Number one, man, there's not going to be one person that's going to eliminate rap music. And, and the fact that they're putting that onus on an individual like he has the ability to do that is dangerous.
That's
It's dangerous. And
that's
you know,
dangerous.
but what they're doing, and the worst part about it, Coop, they're
No,
using this as a cover for the fact that he just dropped an album that isn't well received.
no,
So
okay. So
go ahead.
I think we might be splitting hairs. You tell me what's worse. Where it's coming from, like the integrity of somebody who we trust as an MC and a credible interviewer and host, or the actual issue itself, because this is a business of credibility, is it not? Like
It
your
is.
cred matters up in here still.
It is. It is.
And
And it
part of where
does.
Buck is where he is as a host and an interview and a podcaster is what? Credibility is what? MC and the credibility built through the show. And you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you tell me what's worse,
Because
actually.
yeah, I don't even think that's a topic. You know what I mean? Like, and the fact that we're having to even cover this and clear this up, I think is shameful. Because there are people out there who are gonna run with the narrative that Drake can possibly end rap with an album or something. Like, what? Nobody can do that.
Ooh.
And not to mention, there's a lot of rapping going on out here, by the way. A lot of great rapping going on out here right now. 007 with the super chat says, Drake won't be missed. When it's all said and done, his music is replaceable. In my opinion, he never had top tier, never was a top tier creator. He always involved his music. I'm sorry. He was always involved with music. There's a difference. Ghostwriters provide gray area. Well, I think, was it you and I that were talking about this, Cooper? I was talking with somebody about this. Drake's music is timely. I might have been talking to 007 about this. Like, when you listen to Drake's
I believe
songs,
we were all on a chat together, which
I
is
think
where
that's what it was.
we're on a chat together, yeah.
Drake's music, it fits a time period. You're not going to go back and listen to it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's listening to Started from the Bottom in 2022. No, I know who I was talking to about this. A DJ I know. And we were talking about, you know, this Drake record. And he spins. And he was saying that Drake makes music for the time period. And he says some people go up to his DJ booth, request Drake when it's hot. But after that time period's over, the record's over. He doesn't make timeless music, according to the DJ that I was speaking to.
We're going to unpack a few things because those are some of my thoughts when we're going to get into some of our album review in a little bit. But hold on, because that's crazy. I had a conversation online with one of my dear friends who is a DJ who also spins as well. Shout out to my boy Big H and Amped Up Entertainment down here in Atlanta. We got to get
some
Amped Up
spam
Entertainment
in the
on
room,
here.
by the way. I'm sorry. I'm listening to you.
No. Amped Up Entertainment. Like, there's some heads. Some of my Black Star thoughts came from the back and forth I had with Holland. Holland is a head amongst heads. Like, you know what I'm saying? Black Thought is probably his all-time favorite MC, you know? So he's that kind of head. You know what I'm saying? And me and him we had a talk online, actually on Facebook Messenger of all places, about a myriad of things. But he espoused some things as well about Drake and just kind of like, he slid it to the side so quick. When you know somebody like the way that I know him and know his musical ear, even when Holland doesn't like something, he will explain to you why. Right. He was pretty much like, that's not it, and next. and keep in mind, and listen to what I'm about to say, and I say this respectfully. First of all, you want to know what? I missed something, and we're going to cover this right quick.
Okay.
Anybody that watches this show that thinks Mike is the racist person between the two of us is an idiot, right? Like, you are stupid, and you are not paying attention at all. But
they just say that stuff, man. They don't mean it. They don't have a real comeback, so yeah.
Holland also happens to be white and spins jungle, house, dance, hip-hop. Like, he can spin it all. He has music primers that I will put on any top-level party, club, DJ. Like, he's like that, and he's right down here. And so for him to have that feel about the Drake album, like I watch him take a lot of stuff and get jiggy with it. Like, you feel me? I watch him take a lot of stuff and get busy. I've watched him take a lot of stuff in the last 15 years and get busy. And the fact that him, as a DJ and the head that he is, and I know his affinity for being able to bleed, dance, and jungle and ska and all of that in the hip hop, for him to just be like, no, very problematic. Very problematic. Because Holland's the type of DJ that, if nothing else, Drake should want him to put that on the cutting room floor and freak it and remix it for the crowd. And I don't even think he's going to do that, but we'll see.
I want to get to this super chat. I think this is an interesting super chat. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the spam out of the room. Swain says, the story of hip-hop can be told without mentioning Drake's contributions. I can agree with that. Because you know what? And I think the reason why people may feel that way is because when you ride waves like that and you don't have anything definitive, I guess, you know what, maybe that airy type of sound that really involves more so singing than rapping, maybe that's his contribution. But I don't know how well that stuff's going to play 10, 15 years from now, right? What I was going to get into, though, I was going to get into the notion that it's one thing, and your guy who's a DJ, it would be one thing if Drake was out here experimenting and doing some things that, you know, haven't been traveled upon, or going on some roads that haven't been traveled upon, excuse me. But the thing is, you're taking from a DC scene, correct me if I'm wrong out there in the chat, a DC scene and a DC sound, and you're not even doing it the best. You know what I'm saying? And I think we're seeing that right now. I think we're seeing that right now with Beyonce's song too, where it's like, okay, you're taking something that people are doing and have been doing, and you're not even doing nothing really new to it. So,
what do you mean?
I'm talking about the whole vibe of this album. It's coming from.
You mean it's deep? You feel it's go-go-ish?
Well,
or just dance hall-ish?
Yeah, some of the artists in DC, I believe. I should have had their names in my notes. They have been very vocal about the fact that their vocals have been taken for this album, and Drake's used their vocal without their credit, and kind of taking their sound and taking their scene. You know what I'm saying? And again,
I mean, he does that with a lot of people, though.
Of course he does. He's done that with Houston. He's done that with
he did that with
Memphis.
Houston
Excuse
me. He's done that with Houston, Atlanta,
Memphis, and now DC. So, you know, this is nothing new, but I think that's one of the reasons why, like someone said, that the story of hip-hop can be told without, you know, mentioning his contributions. Now, granted, I think his contributions are huge, but I don't think if he, let's just say hypothetically, he just say, you know what, I'm going to hang it up. It's not going to be a big hole left in the game. LP with the super chat says, in the coop, hating on M like Mike, game. Hold up, is that a line? No, it sounds like it's some quotes. All right, Mad Max says, laugh my ass off. The Drake album is trash, but people ain't have this energy when Tyler was putting out albums like house music about the, you know what? That's very, very, very good observation. I didn't even think about Tyler. Tyler's been doing experimental stuff like this, and you know, I know Igor might not be
better.
Exactly.
But hold on. This is what I mean. But he's an experimental artist, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a risk taker and a chance taker.
Because he can do those things well.
I've never seen an artist of his ilk and his caliber even have the thought process to want to do something like call a DJ drama. Like, will you host my album?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He's a risk taker like that.
And I think even what Logic just did this past week, I think that's a direct reaction and reflection of what Tyler did.
How you feel about the Logic? Do you think it's Logic's best project?
That I've heard.
So did I. My man Holland didn't feel the same way.
Really?
We had a whole talk. Yeah, we
under
had
pressure. He got under pressure over it.
Huh?
He got under pressure over that, or
you know what? I'm gonna have to go back to the chat. When we get it in, we get it in hard. You know how the head talk go. You know.
KC1 with the super chat says Jay-Z and Drake are the biggest wave riders in hip hop. But see, you know, the difference between those two things is the fact that Jay-Z got bars. And I think even with the fact that Jay might take a line or two, take a style or two or whatever, I think from a skill set proponent, we know that Jay-Z is a top 5 talent.
Well, here's how you should look at that if you feel that way. No, if you feel that way about Jay, here's how you should look at it. Kobe took about 80% of Mike's portfolio, okay? But he actually had the ability to take the portfolio and execute. You get what I'm saying?
It's incredible because, you know, the whole thing is, man, everybody wanted to play like Michael Jordan. And
Right.
I'm pretty sure
How many people have actually been able to? Because I've only seen one. Right. I've seen one guy that can actually play like Mike.
Right.
Not
No,
one.
I agree. I mean, all of us grew up watching Michael Jordan. I'm sure everybody was 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". They were trying to pattern their game after Michael Jordan. And there was only one guy that could actually successfully pull it off.
Correct. So it's like one of those things. Okay, so Mike, like you posted that video of me. It's like, oh, Coop, like you're using literary devices. It's like, well, no shit. I'm a writer. I'm a rap artist. Like first, and then a writer before. You get what I'm saying? And so it's like, no, that's Jay. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely.
That's Jay.
But you know what? I was talking to somebody about Jay too, and we kind of came to the conclusion that everything after Reasonable Doubt, you could tell that Life After Death was very he draws a lot of inspiration from Life After Death. You could even look at UGK with the whole, you know, collaborating with them with Big Pimpin'. That mindset probably was like, well, shit, Big did a song with Bone. You know what I mean? Like everything that Jay attempted, you could kind of trace back to Life After Death.
It stayed with him.
Yeah, the versatility. The versatility, because I think that's the thing that we really hold Jay high for, especially in the era that he did it with so many different sounds, so many different producers. He was able to make street records, radio records. That's Life After Death.
Okay, so let's have this conversation right quick, and I'm not saying this in a slight. That's always my thing about the gap in the role that he filled. Well, it's like, can he do a lot of what Big did? Well, of course, that's obvious. But now you start parsing it out, and it's like, well, it goes to that Kobe and Mike thing. It's like, well, that's Biggie's supposed to be the greatest MC of all time. The only reason he's not the greatest MC of all time is because of the catalog brevity. Okay? Now for catalog brevity, he is the greatest MC of all time. Comparing Jay to him is like comparing Mike to Kobe. It's like, oh, is it top 10 player, maybe top 5 player? Oh, hell yeah. Do you know who that other guy is? You feel what I'm saying? And so never really fair to Jay in that regard. Truthfully, if we really want to be honest about it, never really fair to Jay in that regard. And here's what I mean about having to stay with too. Like, you know, my mind really is like a steel trap, Mike. I can remember them interviewing Jay early on, like after Biggie died. And some of those early interviews, like he talked in the interview one time about one of the recording sessions of Life After Death, but he didn't talk about the session. He talked about hanging out with Big at a bar late night. And, you know, Jay don't smoke weed. And Big got him high. And he got high, and Big was like fucking with him, like, I got you, nigga. Like, he remembers, you know? Yeah. I remember him telling that story, and I'm like, oh, that's why when you said it stuck with him, it's like, oh, no, everything about that stuck with him because his recountance of it early on spoke to a man. He wasn't even thinking about the music. He's recalling those conversations with his friend, and his friend knows that he doesn't smoke weed because he's paranoid about the life that he used to live. But Big is so charismatic and gets you so comfortable. And here's how charismatic Big is. He can get Jay-Z high.
Let me get to these super chats, and I want to piggyback off of that. Mad Max says, LOL, you have to speak on Drake and hip-hop. You got to stop Drake. Just a simp. Just a set male version of Lauryn Hill. And yeah, ain't let her go. Let's see. Let me get to I know we missed a whole lot. LP says, did y'all talk about the game dropping ass name yet? No, we ain't talked about the game yet. We're gonna get into violence. We're gonna get into that record. Let's see. Got another one. Free says, Drake changed the sound of hip hop. Every poppin' young rapper sings, and not because of Kanye or Wayne. The question is, will there be a non-singing rap star ever?
Hold on. That's where you're wrong. No. He's very, very wrong.
Swain says, Ja Rule got clowned for his music, but at least he stayed within the confines of hip-hop and he rapped on his album. Drake is straight singing, period. Not singing well either, by the way. I think that's a big part of it, too. KD says, you know I love y'all content, but you guys are being a little too unfair with the Drake breakdown. A lot of it is coming off of blind hate.
No. We have evidence. We have about 8 years of bad album evidence going on right now.
We'll go
But
back to that real quick. I do want to piggyback on what you said about Biggie and Jay. I think that is a perfect comparison when you talk about Kobe and Mike, because Kobe has to have, or excuse me, had to have. I can't believe Kobe Bryant's no longer with us. Incredible muscle memory to go out there and pattern his game after somebody, just move for move. Like you got, it's incredible, and that speaks to the memory that Jay has. Probably the best memory in hip hop, probably the best memory in music.
Yes, he might have the best. Hold on, I think he and Frank Sinatra might have the best music memory in history from all the things that I've read and heard as far as artists are concerned. Jay and Frank Sinatra.
Said a man, like, I think it was Skills that was telling this story about how Jay went into the studio. I think Timbaland was out somewhere or whatever. Jay went in there, 15 minutes, hearing the beat, and just put down Lobster and Shrimp like that.
Yes.
And like, these ain't garbage records. Like, you listen to these records, you're like, he went in there in 10, 15 minutes and knocked this out. It's incredible.
So understand what Jay did was that, and this is what I mean, he upped the performance level of things in the studio. Mm-hmm. Like, I never, and this is what I say, and I'm going to say this carefully, this is not a comparison. I never felt, there's not been a moment in his career where I ever felt like he was lyrically the best. But if you want to talk about somebody getting in and getting out, quality-wise,
I don't think we had ever seen anything like that.
Because here's the thing. Big and Pac are gone. Oh, well, your greatest competition, and I say this as a writer, respectfully, Nas will write a song 2 or 3 times. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you might be there for 3 or 4 hours just because that guy might want to write the song 3 or 4 times and be like, hold on, piece it together like that. Or let's do that. Or
well, that's why he was one take Hove, because he knew that nobody could compete with him on his speed and quality balance. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That doesn't make you the best MC. That makes you the best recording artist. Like, you're the best at recording the music, which is a feat. Don't get it twisted. You deserve props for that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if time is money, well, you are the champ.
It's true. And I'm sure that's how he looked at it. KC1 says it was...
When you're a champ, Mike, whatever you're the champ at is how you look at it. You look at it like, man, my time is money, and I'm better and faster than all these niggas.
Boom. Yeah. KC1 says it was written in Illmatic over Ready to Die and Life After Death. Nas would still be the GOAT if Big was still alive. Probably the better writer. But I think that the versatility... He
was the better writer from the jump. He was going to be the better writer. Right.
This is what I will say about this. What Nas is doing right now, I don't think any of us ever predicted, right?
No.
So if we're counting...
And I don't want to hear one of his fans ever say differently. Don't tell me that you expected this run.
So if we're counting what has transpired over the past, 4 years or so, then I get that. But if we're talking about everything from the beginning to probably 2010-ish or whatever, and Biggie stays on that pace.
Let's go up to Life is Good. Let's go from Illmatic to Life is Good.
Yeah. And let's just say Biggie, hypothetically lives and keeps up a certain pace that he was on. I'm sorry. I gotta go with Big on that one overall. I mean, even if we look at what Big left us in 2 albums, the man could do a verses right now with just what he did in that 3-year pocket. He got 20 joints to go right now, heavy ones.
Hold on. Here's how cold he is. I will let somebody else pick 20 Biggie joints, and I walk in against anybody else feeling comfortable. Anybody, you can let somebody else pick. It's like that.
It is like that.
It is like that.
Mr. Miller says Drake leaned on his weakest skill set, singing, on this album, which made it a recipe for disaster. He has one lane that works for him. He wants to be more versatile, but his skills are limiting him.
Hold on. Leonard Washington is pulling my card. He said if you're reading this too late was 7 years ago. So I'd like to apologize. It's been a 6.5-year run.
Okay, well, let's get to that comment, because that was a super chat as well. They're saying it would be an unfair.
6.5 years. I'm sorry for saying 8. It's been 6.5.
All right, so let's rewind, right? So I don't think anybody's playing anything for Certified Lover Boy anymore, right? That was last year.
No. Way Too Sexy is still getting some run, but I think we
That's
all know
future.
why.
That's
We're
future.
in the A. That's
That's
Future and
future.
Thugger. Right.
You know what? Look, let's not count on the songs that he leaned on Future and Young Thug for. We can't count those. If you are running rap and you the king of rap, or you know,
he was running rap.
well, this is the narrative. If you're able to actually eliminate the rap genre, then you should be running rap, right?
Very probably.
But if that's the case, like you said, where's the evidence of you on a solo tip on some rap songs? I don't want to hear about Tootsie Slide. I don't want to hear about God's Plan. Those are singing records. Respectfully, they cool if that's what you into, but if we talking about some rap shit, like come on, man, like we got to give at least even Kendrick from a mainstream perspective. Let's give him props. He went out there and rapped. He could have easily went out there and sang too. He rapped. J. Cole's out here rapping, man. So we're going to sit here and disrespect, because these are his peers. And I'm naming him. I ain't even talking about Benny. I ain't talking about Conway. I ain't even talking about like Ransom and all that stuff that's going on. Let's talk about the people that they always group with him. Cole and Kendrick are out here rapping at a high level. And y'all want to sit here and talk about this dance album of elevator music is going to eliminate the genre? Don't disrespect Kendrick and Cole and the rest of hip-hop like that. Come on, man.
Do you understand that I'm afraid of Cole right now as an MC? Like there hasn't been too many times in the last 10 years where you should be worried about an MC getting on a song with you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Be very afraid.
Putting him on a song right now, that's a problem for you.
Super Chats is going crazy.
Hold on. And I
Go
feel
ahead.
partly responsible because of this damn show and the fact that I'm from North Carolina and some of the comments I mean, Mike, I'll be sitting up sometimes, I'll be listening to him rap and I'll be like, I'm pretty certain he ain't rapped like this before.
Well, you know what? Before I get to the Super Chat.
I have a following in North Carolina. I know about Fayetteville and Greensboro. I'm from Charlotte. I'd be like, man, this nigga done got a hold of me talking this shit. I done pissed this dude off some. He knows I'm from the same home state.
Well, you know what?
It's all bad. Like, it's all bad for dudes that want to get on a song for him. Ain't nobody afraid of Drake like that. I'm afraid for niggas to get on a song with J. Cole right now. He might embarrass you on your record, nigga.
Well, you know what? That reminds me to another point I wanted to get to on this show. My fiance says that we owe her and all the J. Cole fans an apology.
We do.
Because, you know, you guys probably don't know, but this is some of our earlier shows or whatever. And we were talking down on Cole's ability to make an album in relation to Kendrick and saying that he wasn't living up to his skill set. These are some things that we said, what was that, maybe like a year and a half or so ago now? But yeah, she says, I owe him an apology, and she said, you too, but especially me. And yes, Dana, I apologize. J. Cole is rapping his ass off, and, you know, it is what it is.
You've been disrespectful to the point that it's made me worry about coming home at times. But I've been disrespectful as well. And your fiance is right. Yeah, we've been fucking up. I really don't know how else to explain it.
007 with the super chat says, I'm a Nas guy. I didn't predict this run. I hoped for it. And now that we have it, I'm shocked. We need something from Jay. And we have a conversation Rakim ain't do this. Mad Max with the super chat says, Scary Hours was a good tape. Laughing my ass off, and we still spin that Certified Lover Boy. Pipe Down still gets played. Champagne Poetry still gets played. Come on now. Okay, y'all still rocking with Certified Lover Boy. Now the other project you talking about, I did like D4L, but once again, Future and Thug. Marquez Davis with the $20 super chat. We appreciate that. He says, Jay got the no writing thing from Biggie. Jay took a lot from Big, but he's still great.
No, that's
Last point, Big was going to retire by 2000. He was going to do a triple album, and then he was going to be done.
No, that's not true. The triple album fulfills the sixth album contractual obligation to Puff into Bad Boy era stuff. He wasn't done. He was going to be done with Bad Boy era stuff after the triple.
Now, according to Gene Deal, who's bodyguarded Bad Boy Records, he said that Big told him, I mean, because he's seen the books, you know, like I said, according to Gene
He
Deal.
has enough money. He wasn't going to have enough money to retire after those.
He said Big was going to leave and he was getting offers from major labels to distribute himself, Junior Mafia, Kim, all that stuff. So yeah, maybe that triple album, that probably would have been, like you said, getting him out of Bad Boy. You know what that reminds me of again? Jay-Z's retirement. His retirement was about leaving, you know, the Rockefeller as we knew it, and now moving on to what we know as, you know, Rock Nation and everything else.
Nation.
So maybe that's what the quote-unquote retirement for Big would have been like, too.
Oh, is that what we call a retirement? That's what that is?
Transitioning, you know. No longer Notorious B.I.G., more so Frank White.
Yeah, heard Frank.
Frank Wizzle. Free with the Super Chat says, Mr. Morale came out 2 weeks ago, and it's gone. Chill. Wow. DJ Bruce Almighty says, people confuse music with the music business. Dude was never the best. You know what? I agree with that. But the narrative is that he is, because you're talking about somebody that can, they're saying that he could eliminate rap. The fact that people are even saying that gives you the notion that he is the best rapper in the game, right?
Okay. Let's hold on. Let's unpack something that was kind of dangerous, and we need to kind of go ahead and correct that. The cool thing about Big and J meeting is that they actually both used to write their rhymes in their head before they met each other. And so the meeting it's been told various times, I believe by Clark Kent, that in the studio,
producer of Brooklyn Finest, by the way.
Producer of Brooklyn's Finest, DJ Clark Kent has produced other stuff as well. This pretty epic hip-hop. Yeah, it's a great producer. Important hip-hop producer, too.
Legendary.
Yes. He said, I believe the story gets told that Big kind of like had a pad that was like in the studio and gave Jay like the pad to write something down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you ready? Because Big been hearing about Jay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they went to school together. He probably knew him.
Right.
Too.
He already know what's going on. He know what Jay sound like. And so Jay, they say push like the paper back, and it's like, no, like I don't need it. It's like I don't need it either. That's how it really went. I believe that's how it got told.
Well, I mean, that's the story I've always heard too. Again,
right?
Consistent stories. Remember, it's crazy.
Well, here's the thing about it. So DJ Premier gives more credence to that when he's breaking down how Unbelievable happened. Yeah. And they're at D&D Studios. And so he says, like, Big shows up and, you know, studio shit, cuts the beat on. It's playing the beat. They roll up. You know what I'm saying? Whoop-de-whoop or whatever. He's like, Big goes into the other room. Some girls show up. Big's getting some dome in the other room, Mike. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Preem comes out because it's been like 3 or 4 hours they've been in the studio. The Unbelievable beats just been playing for 3 or 4 hours, Mike. Unbelievable tracks just playing for like 3 or 4 hours. Big's like asking Preem, like, you want some of this? Like, you want some of these girls? And Preem's like, no, like, what's up with the track, nigga? And the nigga's like, oh, it's done. Like,
yeah, he was waiting to see him write it. And
like while all this is going on, like while they smoking, talking, the girls are showing up. No, Big's writing. And then, like, he gets done and he goes and does Unbelievable. Live from Beth the Stive, this son, the livest one, representing BK to the fullest. Got to pull it.
Yo, yeah. That's amazing.
Right.
Man there with the super chat says Drake runs is biting styles from different genres. Yeah, I mean, that's what people are saying, you know, allegedly. Nas the GOAT says Drake is a better singer than he is a rapper, in my opinion. KD says Drake and Kendrick underperform, left the lane wide open for Cole to take top shotter spot. It's going to be interesting if he can seize the moment. I agree with you. Because at this point, it sounds like, just from his features and everything that he's doing leading up to it, this is the time for Cole. Between that, we don't want to talk about that three-headed monster, or as they call it, just those three guys that they propelled to the highest of that generation. This looks like it's Cole's time. I don't know if Kendrick, quote unquote, underperformed.
Crazy? Isn't that crazy for how this gets played?
Is crazy.
If you go listen to the industry right now, and we're going to talk about this. Well, he's had the least impact in terms of how the industry sounds.
Yeah.
But who's the best MC right now?
It's Cole. Mad Max with the super chat.
What is this? This is a hip hop, right?
This is hip hop. And you know what? I want to make that clear too. This rap shit's not going anywhere. And it ain't gonna be no Drake. It ain't gonna be. It don't matter who it is. And whatever you make, niggas is still gonna be rapping out here. I don't know where this notion comes from where people think that he can eliminate rap music from the mainstream shit. Rap music hasn't been mainstream for a minute now.
This is how this happens is because you don't put the people who are rapping their ass up where they belong.
Yeah.
What I'm saying. So like when
you listen to these B-dot lists and stuff like that,
Oh, Mike.
Yeah, I'm throwing a shot. Yeah, you listen to the B-dot lists and stuff like that. If you look at lists like that, then you could think that.
A lot of people feel like I be overrating Conway the Machine. No, I don't. I have him rated properly as an MC. Y'all got the game fucked up. Right.
That nigga raps.
Like, because at the end of the day, it's about what? Like in this form of hip hop, the 5 elements, the rapper does what? He raps, he MCs.
Yeah. And that ain't gonna change.
Who MCing better?
Mad Max with the super chat says, K-Dot did a lot of singing on this whack album. Kendrick ain't performed to the level where he ain't Drake separated Certified Lover Boy is greater than Mr. Morale, and they're both whack. Listen, I'll put it this way.
The writing is just so superior on this.
Exactly. Regardless if you feeling Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers like that, you can't sit there and listen to the writing on stuff like, Mama Soba and Auntie's Diaries. And I mean, you just can't and sit there and say it's on the same level or Drake shit's better. I mean, you can't. And even if you want to talk about on a single level, like Silent Hill's a dope record.
Better than everything on Certified Lover Boy except Way Too Sexy.
I like it better than Way Too Sexy. But, it's just my opinion because...
The ATL in me is just not going to...
Way Too Sexy... Again, I can't give... This is my problem with Way Too Sexy and D4L.
Way Too Sexy is Way Too Sexy.
No,
that might be
records that I love. Mm-hmm. But these are future records, man. I can't give him credit for these records. I'm sorry, I can't.
No, that's why I said it's the Atlanta in me that says Way Too Sexy is better.
Once again, soaking up sound.
Because I don't look at it like a Drake record.
Exactly, because it's not.
Like, we be down here. We know what time it is.
It's
we know
not
what
a Drake record.
Like, we know who's really making these records.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, whether we like Mr. Morale or N95 or not, at least Kendrick went out here and did his own thing and got creative and took risk. At least I'll give him that.
No, he did. He didn't do a good job, but
Yeah, I'll put that over somebody who's just soaking up sounds. I'm sorry. I mean, I've heard this stuff before. I think that's what we were talking about when we even reviewed Certified Lover Boy, was the fact that the features were basically the star on each song that they were on.
Yes.
Blue Collar Hustle.
Hold on, how about this? Here's what I mean. How can Drake run hip-hop when every time we talk about Drake, understand when we have an MC conversation, like when we do this Nas and Jay thing, do you know how deep it goes? That's where the whole literary devices, endless conversation comes from that right there. Yeah. That's what happens when you have real caliber MCs. It brings out the fire in people of them wanting to make the point. It's like, well, Coop, you're not listening to Jay's literary devices. Or, well, Coop, how can you unfold the scroll on verbal intercourse? You get what I'm saying? It get deep. Don't nobody take Drake that deep as an MC. So how can he alter the course of rap where nobody even takes him deep enough to get into the discourse of having MC conversations and battles? Because like I said, if you feel like Conway the Machine is overrated and you think Drake has the potential to run rap, go put them in a room together right now.
I think the proof is in the pudding.
You tell me what's about to happen.
I think the proof's in the pudding. people don't look at Drake in that fashion because they don't even care the fact that he had ghostwriters.
Smoke that.
Blue Collar Hustler says 100% predicted Nas's run. The man made Life is Good. Nobody predicted this. Respectfully, Blue Collar Hustler. Come on.
First of all, that's a damn lie. Okay?
No one predicted Magic.
Nobody. You can't predict Magic or KD 2. I don't care what you.
Now KD 1, okay, I give you that.
KD 1, yes, you can predict that maybe, but KD 2,
but KD 2 and Magic in the same year at that level, that's unpredictable, as Biggie would say.
And I'm tired of people running around here acting like Life is Good is some sort of classic hip hop record that gets played all the time. It's not. It's a really dope album. It's not a classic. It's a dope
album in context.
It's a dope album.
Yeah.
I'm with you on Life is Good, Mike. Life is Good is really good. It's a really dope album. I go back to, Cherry Wine. I love Cherry Wine. Stay.
Yeah, Stay.
I love Stay.
It's got some joy songs.
Stay and Cherry Wine are probably my two favorites. The Don.
I didn't really love The Don. What's the other song?
I like his energy on there. You don't usually get that energy out of him. And then the whole Salah, Heavy D gave this beat for Salah for me to rap to. Heavy D had just died, dude. Yeah. It's just one of those,
I love the mood of the whole album. You know what I mean? Like, now I could see that. Right. People are into the whole mood of the album. I'm with that. Melvin Wright.
My daughter is at the age now that he was when he was going through those things going on with daughters. So it's like I remember that record now because now my daughter's 15.
Our daughter's a brilliant record too.
Yeah, that's a brilliant moment. That's one of those hip hop grown men moments. It's brilliant. So it's not to say it doesn't have its moment. It's not a classic. And I'm gonna give you an example of why it's not a classic. Locomotive, Mike. People be talking about Locomotive. Like Locomotive is like some sort of greatest hits Nas record. It's like, no, it's not. It's a dope record with Nas rapping on it. Large Professor did the beat, and he said, for my trapped in the 90s niggas on it. And he trapped you niggas when he said it. It's not like that.
Right. I like back when.
Like lyrically, everything on King's Disease 2 and Magic is supreme to Locomotive. Like everything, as in every single fucking bar.
Melvin Wright with the super chat says, I highly doubt Nas would have made any of the albums in between I Am and Life is Good had Big lived. Wow.
Here we go with this Locomotive, this fire shit.
Darren Harris says, Pusha T, Nas, The Game, J. Cole is a big four right now. They are consistent rotation for me right now. I think that's a really good big four. Pusha T, Nas, The Game, J. Cole. I would throw Conway in there too, but that's just me. Maybe Benny a little bit too. Got to give Benny some love because Benny did come through with the Tana Talk 4. LP with the super chat says, can't nobody tell me they wasn't worried about KD1 after the track list dropped and the previous two albums of Nas being Nasir and and the Lost Tapes too. It was worrisome. Yes.
I'm sorry. No, they're right. No ID produced Locomotive. That's Large Pro talking on the track. Okay. I don't give a damn. The evidence is the same. It's not enough evidence.
I like what LP
you see how people
said.
Be trying to create the evidence? It's like, well, really cool. No ID produced the track. Oh, so we like grading it differently? No, it's just not like that. It's a dope record. Stop talking about it like the shit is Silent Murder or Taking in Blood. It's not.
Well, I agree with what LP said. You can't say when you saw the track list for KD1 right after we're coming off Lost Tapes 2 and Nasir and say you're not nervous. Especially with the features that were on there. Like, what's this going to sound like? And I wasn't sold on Hit Boy producing for Nas.
Do you remember when you shot me the lineup for King's Disease, and I was like, I don't know about this, Mike. I was like, I'm worried. I was like, I am worried right now. I was like, he's doing. I was like, who's on? I said, how's he about to do a record with A$AP Ferg?
Yeah.
I was Big Sean. I was like, who? I was like Anderson .Paak. So I was like, what? I said, who? I said, Charlie Wilson. I said, this is very problematic. Remember I said, this is very problematic.
007 with the super chat says, literary device time, Coop. Think about it before you respond. I argue to high hell with my buddies because they drink the Drake juice. Big Sean, pound for pound, is a better rapper than Drake. Think skill set.
Yes, correct.
I think where Big Sean lacks, and obviously if we're talking about word for word, yes, there you go. I think the voice is what holds Big Sean back in that comparison particularly.
If he actually had Drake's voice or could even sing a little bit, he actually would have been the biggest star in rap at some point in the last 10 years. Like the biggest star at some point. Yeah.
What was the because I know they kind of go, I mean, I know it's not official, maybe I'm speculating, they kind of go back and forth every now and then. And it's like whenever they get on a track together, one of them gives like some of their best performances. And I think it started with that shut the fuck up. I got way too much in my mental. He closed that man's album out. He closed out Drake's album. Little bit.
Blessings is a great record. You know, that's probably that's their best collaboration in my opinion.
Yeah. LP with the super chat says there are reference tracks. Conversation over. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, I know a lot of people want to make excuses for Drake, whatever, and there's always been conversations and talks in the air about who has ghostwriters, this, that, and the third. There's reference tracks on him. So it's like there's no argument after you got reference tracks. Sorry.
No.
It's just not. I mean,
just real quick, we got to go back to one of our first super chats and address the whole Jizza Raekwon thing.
Oh, go ahead.
I would be fighting. Okay, this is nothing against Ray or Ghost, but this is like what, 94, 95? Mm-hmm. Oh, I want to hear the Jizza and Nas too, kind of. You feel what I'm saying? Yep. Like lyrically speaking. And so I believe the record, because it got sent to me too, and I believe it was Investigative Reports.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn.
Right.
Damn.
So, right.
But we got what we got.
We got verbal intercourse.
I can't complain about that.
Too. No, but hold on. Here's another thing too, because if I'm not mistaken, Purple Tape starts getting recorded late 94. Because Heaven and Hell says 94, taking niggas to war.
Yeah.
So I feel like Heaven and Hell might be the first song.
I can hear that. Yep.
I can hear that too. Sound wise too. Mm-hmm. Quality wise, I can hear that too.
Yep.
So now keep in mind the Purple Tape is going to be out in July. It's like July 7th, 1995. Liquid Swords is like November 7th, 1995.
Great memory.
Yeah. This evidence right here that I'm providing you, well, if you are a fan of RZA, this motherfucker made these albums at the same time?
It's amazing.
Nigga. It's like amazing. Just the fact that this is a conversation, that was the part that got stuck on me. I was like, hold on. I was like, nigga, you over here making Liquid Swords in the Purple Tape
How does at the that same happen?
Time? Like, what are... Woo! Like, I don't know.
One of the greatest feats in hip-hop history.
No, Mike, that's the great... Hold on. If he really, like... That's the greatest feat in hip-hop history by a producer.
I don't have anything to refute that.
You over here making Liquid Swords and over here making the Purple Tape? No, nigga, you got it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Max
I like to
super
apologize
chat.
for everything I said. You can have it all for right there. You can have it all right there. How about that?
Mad Max with the super chat says, "My Soul and Auntie's Diary sound like whisper rap. How writing matters when I can hear your verse. When I can't hear your verse. How does writing matter when I can't hear your verse? Laughing my ass off. Silent Hill was whack. 7 a.m. To Bridal Clears. Y'all gonna make me go back and listen to Certified Lover Boy. I wasn't impressed by any of it.
Don't do that to yourself.
Okay. You know what I'm gonna go back and listen to too? 444. And we're gonna get on that topic in a minute too. I think there's some other super chats I'm missing. The chat's going crazy right now. I'm trying to catch up with everybody. Mad Max again. He said Big Sean is better than Drake, skill set wise. Drake stole Big Sean's whole rap style. Big Sean is at his best, going bar for bar with peak Kendrick. You know what? I will give Big Sean this. Big Sean got style, flow. This is who Big Sean is to his generation. And, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm out of line. I kind of correlate him to Ludacris in a sense, rap-wise.
I think that's a very astute observation.
I think Luda's a much better hit maker, obviously. But if we talk about like stylistically and just, just having a crazy flow and having punchlines and not really having too much serious content that, they both have serious content, but not really being known for that. I think that that's the correlation. I think Luda has a much better rap voice, but,
I think he's a much better rapper.
I mean, me too.
But. And I'm not being regionally biased. That's no disrespect to Sean. I just feel that way about Luda. Here's what I will say. One of the most poignant things that Kanye said in that Drink Champs interview was about how Big Sean's first single went. With the whole ass, and make that motherfucker go stupid. You know what I mean? He kind of, it happens fast when you pigeonhole yourself. Like, I'm going to keep on saying this. If you go look at the greatest MCs of all time, go listen to their first few singles. Just go listen to them. It's all on some rap shit.
Well, in the words of the late great Pimp C, if you're gonna be a cartoon character on your first album, you're a cartoon character on your last album.
Right, and so Kanye was kind of speaking to that. And so all I'm saying is it like, do you remember what Scarface's first single was?
It was
Scarface back.
It was A Minute to Pray, A Second to Die.
Correct. If I'm not mistaken, no, that was the second single. I believe Mr. Scarface back was actually the first single.
Okay.
You listening to the records we talking about? You want to go down this Illmatic, Reasonable Doubt, Ready to Die hole? Like, you want to go... It ain't hard to tell. The World Is Yours. Dead Presidents too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, timing makes a lot of difference.
No, that's not timing. It's like you're doing some rap shit to solidify yourself, or you're not, though.
No, I'm just saying,
the thing about it. No, because listen to what I'm about to say. When you're all-time great, you can just do some rap shit for your first single. You don't have to fit into a category.
Well, yeah, I get you that.
You don't have to fit into a space. You don't have to fit into a time. You don't have to fit into anything. You know what you have to do?
Rap.
Go be great. Yep.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. And so that's where he homogenized himself. We could never see how great he could be or who he was because he homogenized himself from the jump. And that's what Ye was really saying.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here. You remember the BET Cypher. It was the Good Music Cypher.
Yes.
And the newcomers were him and Sci-Hi.
Yep.
Sci-Hi had the rap skills. And Sean had the gimmicky single. Look who got the push. So, I think that during that time period, and I love, me, I love Kanye and everything, but see, I don't feel like, maybe I don't know all the particulars. I don't feel like Sci-Hi's Black History Project in particular got the proper push that it could have gotten from somebody as big as Kanye West. Like, if Kanye West just tweets out this Black History Project, it would have gotten all the attention that it needed to get, and I think Sci-Hi would have got a lot of the adulation that he needed to get. Now, the only other part that I guess makes it somewhat of an excuse for that is Sci-Hi was doing a lot of writing for him. And so maybe it was about like, yo, I got to keep my ghostwriter, as opposed to him going out there being a star. I don't know.
I'm glad you said it so I didn't have to.
So,
But I'm going to keep my great ghostwriter. I'm going to keep my great ghostwriter. Big Sean can't ghostwrite for me like this.
Yeah.
Right.
LP with Super Chat says Big Sean and, is it Kwame? With all those polka dots. Yeah. Kwame with a K, not a Q. That's what threw me off. Stop it. Shout out to Kwame, man. That's the homie, man. He's been on the show. Yeah. I love Kwame. It's my guy.
Mike has a relationship with Kwame, and Kwame's been cool and good to helping build out according to hip-hop before we ever popped up on YouTube.
All kind of knowledge, man. Like, I think we need to do a part 2 of our conversation that we had, that I had with Kwame. It's like, he was kind of breaking down the game on how producers get paid and how things have changed, what it was, what it's going to be. Very knowledgeable person. I mean, when you were walking around high school your junior year with like 4 different major label contracts in your backpack, you know the game.
Your interview with him is my favorite interview that you've done.
Me too. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things too, man, when I knew that I was going to be talking to him. An artist like Kwame, with so much stuff out there that's about the polka dots and Biggie's line and stuff, doing the research for that was, not as easy as it would have been, otherwise. Like, I know his music and I'm a fan of it in that way. But a lot of the questions that I had lined up didn't go like I thought they were going to go, and it just flowed. And a lot of that I, attribute to him and just how conversational he was. He was the one that kind of guided the interview to where it was going. I mean, I picked up on some things, but I wanted to ask him about him writing that verse for Poison with Bell Biv DeVoe.
Mm-hmm.
And but see, I didn't know how to ask it because I didn't know if maybe it was a contractual thing where he wasn't supposed to say this, that, and the third. But we got to talking about ghostwriting, and I got it out of him without even asking.
So here's how big Biggie was in culture, and this is what I mean about influence. This type of influence Drake doesn't have that Biggie even used to have. Like, when he's on Unbelievable and he makes that line about Kwame, you literally don't hear from Kwame for a while because Biggie saying that hurt his credibility. And I'm going to tell you how serious it was. Do you remember on Life After Death when I Got a Story to Tell?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, and she tripping, disappearing like Arsenio. When he said that, I was like, this nigga's never coming back. That's how serious it was if Big says something about you. That's what his weight was. It's like when he said disappearing like Arsenio, and I was like, and he's not coming back either.
I thought you were going to go to John Starks.
No.
And the thing is, man, all these years, we all thought, John Stark, because I think he's like one of them 6'4" niggas or 6'6" niggas or something he said.
He's like one of them 6, right?
Yeah, something like that. And so most people assume that, right? And I think he got on one of those ESPN shows. I forgot what it was. Y'all might know in the chat. And John Stark said the song wasn't about him. And I think Fat Joe interviewed with someone on ESPN as well. And he said that the song was about Charles Oakley. And at this time, Charles Oakley had passed. And it's like,
You mean Anthony Mason?
Anthony Mason, not Charles Oakley. Sorry. No, Charles Oakley is alive and well. I'm sitting here thinking about the forwards. Thank you for that correction. Charles Oakley would come over here and beat my ass. He in Atlanta and everything.
No. No. I was actually going to say, you want a sidebar right quick and have our
Charles Oakley looks good too, by the way.
Hold on. First of all, I think I'm the only black man walking around on this earth that's like under 6'5" that has had 2 run-ins with Charles Oakley and has lived to tell about it. I've talked shit to Charles Oakley twice in my life. I'm still alive, Mike. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. Don't ever be like Coop and talk shit to Charles Oakley. But Mike, my first encounter, can I tell you right quick? Do you want to hear a quick story?
Let me get to the super chat and then tell this quick story.
You'll want to hear this because you're kind of tied to it. You were around at the time.
I want to hear this. KD says a huge problem with Big Sean has he kept a few super corny bars in his verse. I guess he keeps a couple corny bars in his verse. His whole rap style is fabulous, but with way less clever and way more corny. Let's see. Andre Shashir. Shout out to Andre Shashir. He says, Big Sean doesn't have a good rap voice. Well, simple as that, right? Miss LB says, I've heard it all today. Drake has a better voice than Big Sean. Drake's voice is so annoying, in my opinion. He does, I'm kind of with Miss LB. His voice isn't that great either. But we know that his voice actually works.
It's versatile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a versatile voice.
Mad Max says, Sean has wrote for Kanye. Laughing my ass off. Sean wrote Ye's Blessings verse. Sean reminds me of Fab and Mace, just more geeky and doesn't have their voice. I guess y'all are all on the same page with the Fab thing. Okay, go ahead. Tell the Charles Oakley story.
No, it's Charles Oakley and Anthony Mason at the same time.
Oh, they were both there. Okay.
So, Mike, first of all, when I went to high school, I'm from Atlanta, raised in Atlanta, but born in Charlotte. I went back to junior high school in Charlotte. All right?
Right.
So, Anthony Mason is at the airport one day while I'm in high school. My girlfriend at the time in high school is at the airport. She's like, Anthony Mason's total pedophile. He just tried to hit on me. I'm fucking 17 years old. Oh, all right. So that's my first run-in with Anthony Mason, is actually tried to hit on my girlfriend in high school when we were 17 years old. This is a true story. I'm not making this shit up. I see this dude. Guess the next time I see this dude, Mike, I see this guy in the showroom at Dave & Buster's one day. And so Anthony Mason walks in, and I used to live not too far from the Charlotte Hornets arena. Anthony Mason walks in. This motherfucker's massive. All right?
Huge.
And he's huge. Then Charles Oakley walks in right behind him, Mike. I'm not making this shit up, okay? These motherfuckers killed 3 bottles of Don Julio in about 2.5 hours. They killed the whole supply in the showroom bar. These niggas tried to drink another bottle. I told these niggas no. These niggas thought the answer was yeah. This is how serious the shit is. You want to know how off the chain Anthony Mason is? Charles Oakley had to save my ass from Anthony Mason because Anthony Mason was about to reach behind the bar and jack my ass up when I told this nigga no. Because you know how I think everybody know how I am. I don't give a fuck how big you are. I'm telling you no with the straight. No, mother, like, no. I'm like, and these niggas was faded too. I was like, no, this motherfucker reached, Mike. And that's when I realized how big Charles Oakley was because his drunk ass swooped in so quick and grabbed Anthony Mason and was able to hold him off of my ass. This is a true story. All right?
Charles Oakley saved your life.
Right. This is a true story. So you want to flash forward to many, many years later, taking care of Michael Jordan at a private event. Guess who shows up?
Charles Oakley, of course.
Charles Oakley shows up. Now keep in mind.
That's the homie.
Listen to me. Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley are having a conversation. They're calling me the little nigga the whole time. It's the only time in my life I've been okay being called little nigga because the niggas calling me little nigga are literally so massive.
They're giants.
They're giants. Charles Oakley, this is no joke. Michael Jordan has like a $5,000 tab. I hand Mike the tab. Mike looks at me and says, give that shit to Oakley. I'm like,
yes, sir.
Mike, Charles Oakley is about to get in his limo outside. I go outside. I hand Charles Oakley the tab. First of all, his company was like, don't trust this nigga. She talking big shit to me, Mike. He looks at me and he says, you that little nigga from Dave and Buster's. And unrolls a wad of cash and throws it in and just walks away.
He has a good memory, even when they fucked up. He has a great
memory. Basketball players have a great memory. Michael Jordan showed up at the bar 2 weeks later and said, Coop, do you know what I like to drink? I said, yes, I do. I said, Grey Goose on the rocks with 3 limes. They remember everything. The ball players, they remember everything. You remember that sequence where LeBron is running down the whole playoff sequence for about 2 minutes straight?
Yep.
No, that's live. Yep. I dealt with these guys. That's live. Their memories are like that. Like, them niggas remember me. And I don't mean in a good way.
LeBron has an incredible basketball mind. I think that's one of those
all those
things.
Genius basketball players do. That's what I'm saying. Oakley remember me as like a 10-year gap. He was like, you that little nigga from Dave and Buster's. Pointed down on me drunk as fuck while he was doing. It's Charles Oakley. When Charles Oakley point down on you, you know what you do? You shut the fuck up, Mike.
LP says, Coop about to get thrown to the floor like Jazzy Jeff.
No. It's going to be worse than that. It's going to be worse than that.
About to get flown like Jazzy Jeff.
And that's a story. We done. I got all types of stories like that. But yeah.
Yeah, man. You know what? This is what I wanted to ask, man, because I know we were just talking about 444. I just kind of, was talking to somebody today, and I was like, do you know what 444, the album, actually means? Because I don't know. And they're like, no, I don't know. And I want to know if people in the chat actually know what the album 444 means and where it actually comes from, since everybody loves it so much. Manifesto with the super chat says, Coop would have been shaken and stirred.
Just like this martini glass.
That's like a hilarious story. So, all right. So I did a little bit of research, right? And I found out a lot of interesting things about 444. Yes, we got Leroy Green in the building. I want to know if Leroy Green...
Leroy been here.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I want to know if Leroy Green knows what 444 means and if he can explain it to people quickly in the chat.
Ooh.
But what I will do is I'm going to go to this article that I found real quick. I think this was complex. Yes, it was. Let me start from the top, man. It says, when Jay-Z titled, let me move this real quick on my end. All right. When the title of Jay-Z's new album 444 was first announced, it sparked a lot of confusion. But Jay and Beyonce obsessively recognized something very familiar. The power couple has a long history with the number 4, one that runs through literally their entire lives. Years ago, while on Good Morning America promoting her 4th album, entitled, you guessed it, 4, Beyonce reveals that some of the reason the number is so significant to her and her husband. She said, my birthday is on the 4th, she said. My mother's birthday is on the 4th, and my husband, Jay-Z's birthday is on the 4th. I got married on the 4th. By the way, that would be April 4th. 4-4 again.
May the 4th be.
Yeah. The singer went a little bit deeper during the 2011 concert series. During one of the 4 performances, Beyonce claimed her entire wedding date was significant, not just the day and the month. April 4th, 2008. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Jay-Z put a ring on it. Okay. And it gets deeper, right? And,
this is how that Illuminati talk starts, Mike. This is where that Illuminati and this whole... Listen here.
Oh, let me finish this real quick because it gets deeper. It's crazy. It says,
all this witchcraft and numerology and shit.
Allegedly. So it says, and shortly after the 2 tied the knot, they got matching tattoos on their ring finger of the Roman numeral 4. Which is
don't play those
what
games.
we see. The number as seen in the middle name of their child, Blue Ivy, which is, IV, the Roman numeral 4. Interesting.
I don't play those games about playing around with numbers.
It gets deeper than that. Hold on. I want to make sure we keep the super chat here. Furthermore, December of 2013, just one day before he turned 44, Jay-Z revealed he and Beyonce would go on a vegan fast for 22 days. The duration of the diet seems somewhat random. However, the rapper explained that the number 4 played a huge part in deciding the time span. He said, why not? He wrote on his blog. He used to have a blog back in the day, guys. There's something spiritual about it being my 44th birthday and the serendipity behind the number of days in the challenge, 22. 2 plus 2, 4. Coupled with the fact that the challenge ends on Christmas Day, it just feels right.
Back up. I know this nigga ain't talking about his 44th birthday and using words like serendipity. Did you say that? Stop that.
That's what he said.
Stop
okay.
That.
So 2 plus 22, 2 plus 2, 4. Coupled with the fact that the challenge ends on Christmas Day, it just feels right. And we also should remember that Jay-Z once took the number 4 to linguistic extremes on the track 44 Fours, a latter-day sequel to the 1996 track 22 Twos. 2 plus 2, 4 again, right? The significance of the number 4 varies from culture to culture. Some consider the number to be unlucky and as it represents work, while others believe it represents focus and determination to reach goals. It's unclear if Jay and Beyonce attraction to the number is based on superstition or if it's just simply sentimental. As for the number's relationship to the album 444, that goes to the very heart of the project, the title track, which is would last exactly 4 minutes and 44 seconds, got its name for serendipitous reasons, Jay-Z explains while he's on iHeartRadio. So this is why he said the album was entitled that. He said 444 is a song that I wrote.
Okay, the whole serendipity thing, Mike, is very dangerous.
Okay. Let me finish this real quick.
Using that term for where this conversation is going is very, very dangerous. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, all
right. Let me get to why he said it was called this. So he told iHeartRadio that 444 is a song that he wrote, and it's the crux of the album, just right in the middle of the album. And I woke up literally at 4:44 in the morning, 4:44 a.m. to write the song. So it became the title of the album and everything. It's the title track because it's such a powerful song. And I just believe it's one of the best songs I've ever written. That's wild. So now I'm even more confused.
Did you just...
Oh, and I read another article.
Did you just hear...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You go ahead.
I read another article that was breaking it down in another way. They were saying his relationship to President Barack Obama being the 44th president, that this album was 444. So it was a album dedicated to the president that we no longer had. So I saw that out there too. It's wild. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm going to say this. I'm going to try to be as serious as I can and as brief as I can. You don't play with numbers. Inconsistency. People who play with numbers, okay, the way that you just broke down this numerology explanation, people who do that play with other things, okay?
Nas the Goat says, they say Jay-Z recorded at 4:44 a.m. in the morning. Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Blue Collar Hustler says, funny thing is, Nas spit Bring Back Arsenio on Untitled, and Arsenio thanked Nas personally for spurring him to make a comeback. Yeah, he did. That was awesome, too.
Because when Biggie said disappearing like Arsenio in 1997, that's literally what happened. When did Untitled come out? 12 years after that?
Right.
Yeah, proof. That's evidence. Evidence.
All right, this is what I'm going to say. And with all of those coincidences, and I'm not like going to get on some conspiracy theory stuff with this, but I truly don't believe that the album was named this because he woke up at 4:44 a.m. I mean, they just have too much of a relationship with this number. And
you're not supposed
they shouldn't be able to break down this to this degree. You know what I mean?
Listen to what you're saying, Mike. You're not supposed to have relationships with numbers. That's what I'm trying to say about it being problematic.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to have relationships with numbers. People in this world who physically have relationships with numbers are trying to usually tap into things that either are out of this world or have to do with the fundamental origins of this world. And so I'm going to say this, like, Mike, there are certain pseudo and Sanskrit texts that aren't in, like, your Quran or your Bible that talk about things like being able to piece man together. And you have to understand the mathematics and the formation and how numbers go into play in order to do certain things. But it's not meant for man to do or play with those things. It's an abomination. And so all this like vibrating higher and chakras and numerology, no. That's that bullshit. That's worshiping false idols. That's witchcraft. That's the shit that make people say that they're part of the Illuminati, quite frankly.
Well, I guess that's where those things come from.
Plain and simple.
It was one of those things where I didn't know why the album was called 444, and when I went searching, I thought I was going to find a simple answer. I didn't expect that I was going to get all of these things.
Than that. Mike, I know people that exist on the level of threes, okay?
And the fact that they were able to, and again, it could be just some bullshit. I'm sure we got 300-something people watching. I'm sure people are like, some bullshit.
Yeah, some of his
but the one that threw me.
No, look, some of his handlers are probably watching because when we started having this conversation about him is when it spiked over to 300. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, the one that threw me was the fact that whole Roman numeral and the Ivy thing, and it's like, oh man, that can't. I was like, that can't be a coincidence. I never thought about that. That's crazy.
The assertion of hold on. To be honest with you, the part that I hope is the least true is the insertion of the child in the name and the 4 and the Roman numerology into it. Like, yeah, all of that is all bad on every level. No, because in some of the things that other people believe, they believe in the sacrifice of the child, Mike.
KD says, I don't mean to derail the convo, but I want to ask before I forget, did you guys ever review Game's incredible feature on Logic's album? No, we did not. I mean, we talked about the Logic album. We talked about everybody's performances on there. But the Game's in his own right now. Game isn't, and we're going to talk about Game's single violence as well. Mad Max in the super chat says, laughing my eyes off. We know the hoe was Masonicness, if that is a word. Some threw up the fake diamond over his eyes, and we know what that means, seeing the eye and the portal too. Yeah. And, again, we don't want to go down these rabbit holes. I just thought it was interesting, and, I thought these were some interesting articles that I felt like I overlooked when the album came out, because when the album came out, I listened to the album, and I was like, and I never questioned, like, so what is the I thought maybe I just missed it. I was like, so what does the album mean again? But
What is that line that he spit on the Blueprint 2 about Nas? What's that line? You know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about because the nigga wear kufi don't mean that he not bright?
Yeah, just because a nigga wear kufi
if you don't understand him, don't mean that he's nice.
It just means you don't understand
the
bullshit that he writes. Hello.
Well, nah, I think with him, man, he's
no. Hold on.
Very intelligent writer.
No. He's a very intelligent writer, but what you were really disseminating is that we have a whole piece of work by this guy who's very detail-oriented and great at disseminating information. As a matter of fact, his details and his conversationalism and the way that he makes you feel close to him without letting you close is one of his brilliant moves, correct?
Correct.
So what you're telling me is that he created a whole project that a lot of people swear by, but you don't understand the science and the reason and the rationale behind it. You don't understand the shit that he writing, right? Because if you don't understand fundamentally where it's coming from, how can you understand the message?
Well, this is what I interpreted the album.
Don't great books have messages and central points and themes?
To break it back down, right, and just from some of the readings that I did, I just kind of interpreted it as, you know what, 4 and 4/4. 4/4 is their wedding date, right? So 4/4/4. And I thought that album was kind of like a response to Lemonade. It was, I guess, his side of their relationship. So to me, 4/4/4 was, I guess, either him and her together in that first 4, and 4/4 being April 4th. That's where I took it as. But, it's like, again, the fact that it could be interpreted in so many ways like that, it's like, it's hard to believe that it was just simply that he woke up at 4:44 a.m. Like, wow, this number is haunting you. Clayton is asleep with the $20 super chat says, just popping in to say what's up, y'all. New Game song is cool. Hit Boy is my highlight. Since Pete's birthday, I've been bumping Soul Survivor heavy. Cheers and blessings to you all, to you too.
Truly yours 98.
Well, you know how I feel about Pete Rock.
I've been on Truly Yours 98 for a minute now. I've been playing that song like every week for about a month now.
You know what? You know the song that I play from Pete Rock over and over and over and over again? It's on Main Ingredient. Escapism. That shit is crazy.
You know where I'm going.
Beautiful.
You know where I'm going, right?
Where's that?
The saga begins. My eyes are photography lens. Properly push pins and show quality gems. The horrors be grim, but maybe tomorrow we win if we follow the trends and keep track of the dollars we spend. What'd he say? I want lottery ends. Plus mahogany friends. Plus mahogany skins. Plus mahogany bins. Like, yeah, it's the God in Pete Rock. It's how about this? I didn't grow up in Rakim's era. When I heard the saga begins, I was like, this is why they call him the greatest MC of all time. It was the modern day evidence.
Yeah.
Pete Rock supplied Rakim with the modern day evidence for our era to be the greatest MC of all time. It's the saga begins. It's the best record on the 18th letter. Listen to what I'm saying. It's the best record on the 18th letter, and there are 3 DJ Premier produced tracks on there, and it's the best.
I've always thought that Pete Rock, in my personal opinion, sonically, like I was more drawn to his production than Premier. Not to say who's better or whatever. Premier's resume it speaks for itself. But I feel like I wish that Pete Rock would have gotten some of the placements that Premier was able to get in that era, And I think that a lot of people missed out on some great tracks for whatever reason that Pete Rock wasn't involved in. Because every time Pete showed up, he showed up. Like, even on that Rod Digger album, like, his track on there is crazy. Like, every time he showed up, True Master is one of the most underrated beats in hip-hop history. Period.
I can't even... You want to know what it is? When that beat comes on, it's a moment. Like, when the beat drops, like all the stuff, all the mixing and the drops and like all the loops and stuff. But when the beat drops and that comes in, Your Highness, It's like,
That shit
you want
crazy.
what it is? It's like you hear it and it's like, that's what hip hop is supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
That's what it is, Mike. When
Beats
you
and
hear it,
rhymes.
when you hear that beat drop and you hear Deck come in on that drop, you're like, this is what rap sound like. That's what it is with that record. True Master's a rap record, and Pete Rock got as many like rap records like anybody. That's what I'm saying. Like, how about this? You're right about the placement things. I didn't always agree with you about the Primo and the placement thing, except for the 18th letter is proof positive of the placement thing, because here's what I know. First of all, Guess Who's Back was produced by Clark Kent. Well, Clark Kent is a year removed from doing Reasonable Doubt for Jay. So he's buzzing. Okay? Because Jay did Reasonable Doubt in 96. Clark Kent had a major part in putting that together. Right? So he gets the first single placement. But Mike, the underground single that they dropped, that's where you're right about Primo getting the placements, because it's been a long time. As much as I love It's Been a Long Time. And it's a great record. It's an all-time great Primo record. It's an all-time great Rakim record. It's not The Saga Begins. And they should have dropped The Saga Begins. And they didn't drop The Saga Begins because Pete Rock did The Saga Begins and Primo did It's Been a Long Time. And we're rolling with Primo in 97.
Yeah, I mean, Primo had the hot hand.
But hold on, but not fair to Rakim's legacy, because I swear if they would have put The Saga Begins out on the circuit the way they just put It's Been a Long Time out, the standing of that record would be so much higher all time. It's a beautiful record.
Imagine if Pete Rock would have been able to get on Volume 1, Life After Death, It Was Written. I mean, we see what he did on Illmatic. Like, I mean, come on.
No, I mean, hold on. So all jokes aside, so Primo got 3 tracks on Illmatic, okay? He's got 1 track on It Was Written. He's got 2 tracks on I Am. On Biggie's side, he's got 1 track on Ready to Die. He's got 2 tracks on Life After Death. Mike, in Jay's case, on Reasonable Doubt, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, he's got 2 on Reasonable Doubt and 3 on Volume 1. And starts off Volume 2. Volume 2 starts off with a Primo beat after the intro.
Imagine if Pete gets on any of those records.
Hold on. I think people...
Allegedly...
Hold on. Jay's biggest selling album starts off with what?
Primo. Primo's that hip-hop, man.
Hold on. How Jay's second album start off, Mike?
Oh, the second one? That starts off with Primo, 1,000,001. I was
Hello.
just playing that the other
We want to talk about some placements.
Yeah.
We'll talk about placements. He got placed on Illmatic. It Was Written, Ready to Die, Life After Death, Volume 1, Volume 2, Reasonable Doubt.
Well, some people say...
Pete Rock is only on Illmatic. Pete Rock is only on Illmatic.
I say some people say because, I don't want to get in any kind of trouble. I don't know any, real backing on this. But some people say that Pete Rock made Juicy and somebody else got credit for it. So some people say. DJ Bruce Almighty says, people are sleeping on Tory Lanez. He's been better than Drake for the last 5 years, rap and R&B. I think he is a better rapper and singer than Drake. I've always thought that. But hey, maybe that's me hating.
Not a songmaker, but we don't know what type of songmaker Drake is without Quentin Miller anymore.
But we do know that, let's just keep it a buck. Tory Lanez will take your whole freestyle too. That happened.
I was about to say, like, how original is... Okay, yeah, go ahead.
LP with Super Chat says, Mecca is one of the best produced ever. I think Main Ingredient's one of the best produced ever.
Mike's a Main Ingredient guy.
I do think that Trouble T. Roy is one of the best produced hip-hop records ever. It shines above everything of its era, in my opinion. Like,
and he just has, he has that dope, rare stuff. Like I told you, like that Smoke Dizzy and Pete Rock album, Don't Smoke Rock, like some of his best beats are on there.
Yeah, the album that he did with Skyzoo, like Pete Rock is giving work, man, and everybody's getting it. And I love producers like that, and that was one of the reasons why in that Neptunes and Timbaland conversation, I always favored the Neptunes because they would give heat to anybody. With Timbaland, you could tell, and he said this himself. I'm not just making this up.
No,
I think he said in Source Magazine, he gives his A-side beats to this artist, he gives his B-side beats to this person, and C-list beats to this level of artist or whatever.
I mean, no, he went a step further even later on and was pretty much like, well, I'm so major right now that really Jay's the only rap artist that can come get a track for me right now. I was thinking to myself when he said that, it's like, nigga, you ain't made no great hip hop shit like that to be saying that. Now go produce Justin Timberlake's album and shut the fuck up.
Everybody saying Mike's tripping. What did I say? I didn't even think I even said anything. Okay, well, I've heard the Neptunes give some heat to Family and Roscoe P. Cold Chain. And I like those artists, by the way. But again, a lot of them Neptune tracks that were crazy, even on the first Clips album, these are tracks that will never see the light of day. And they, and they were good with that. And even on the R&B end, one of my favorite Neptune produced tracks of that era was their artist. Her name was Latrell. The song was called House Party. I love that beat.
Wow.
They could have put that track on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like that track could have went to Britney
That's how you
Spears.
feel? They could have put that track on anybody?
No, I'm just saying, no, not like that. The
I'm
fact that they gave
like
a great
Primo
track
and the
to
group home thing, though. It's like, oh, well, imagine if Primo would have gave them beats to somebody else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they gave a dope track to an emerging artist, as you're supposed to. But certain producers would be like, oh, no, you're not getting that. That's going to Justin. Or that's going to Britney. You know what I mean?
I think, hold on. First of all, if you're in a group, that's how it should work. Like, yeah. I can remember Havoc talking about, like, he was like, dudes be calling me, asking me for, like, a Shook Ones or, like, a Hell on Earth or a Quiet Storm. He's like, I'm giving that shit to P. Damn right you are. Right. You better. Just like I told you.
Well, that's different. When you're in a group,
no.
Like,
you
the
group's
first.
Hold on. So we talked about the whole, like, Nas, RZA thing. And it's like, oh, you making Liquid Swords and Purple Tape at the same time. I want you to keep in mind that it's like, Dirty's album is coming out before both of these albums. He might have been doing some of that too. Because that would make sense. Because listen to what I'm saying.
That was all 95.
Right. Well, listen, the GZA wrote most of Return to the 36 Chambers. Mm-hmm. So it would make sense that after Method Man blows and is on tour, you know what I'm saying, and is starting to make his rounds, well, GZA, RZA, Dirt, the original trio are sitting around making Dirt's album and finishing up.
Right.
And go into Ray
all in together
Ghost
now,
mode.
Right? That's the name of the group.
Look, and go into Ray and Ghost mode. But GZA's still chilling around and starts making his project. And then who's coming back from tour while GZA's finishing up his project? Oh, well, it's Method Man. And you have things like Shadowboxing and Living in the World Today and Gold. Yeah. That's where you can hear Meth coming back from tour, reinvigorated, because he's been gone, technically, kind of, but the Clan has won big. Like, he's the star, but music-wise, they've won big, and he comes back in on the Purple Tape and Liquid Swords and sews them up. Like, he is the difference in the Purple Tape and Liquid Swords. People need to understand that. Method Man's the difference.
The Truest, with the super chat, says, better be... What is that? Better be ready to discuss DMIZ and Adrenaline Rush. For real. KD with the super chat says, Tory Lane doesn't get enough props, especially how he body bagged Joyner and Don Q so effortlessly. Those disses were incredible. His pen is sharp. Now, I do remember that, and you're right. Those are one of those moments that people just don't talk about in hip-hop like that. What I would want to know, though, like, during that process when it came to RZA, speaking about who the beats go to, how was RZA determining that, when he was crafting? It was like you said, you got All In Together now, which is GZA, RZA, and Old Dirty. They're all together working on Liquid Swords and Dirty's album, I would imagine. More so Dirty's album, because GZA was writing for Dirty. And then you got, Only Built for Cuban Links on the way. So when you're making a beat at that point, who gets it and how and why? I guess it depends on who's there.
That's what I think is so fascinating about. So you got to keep in mind, when all this is going on, Ghost is the odd man out.
Yeah.
But Ghost is watching all of these. That's why he feels the way he feels about Iron Man, because if you go listen to the beats on Return to the 36 and the Purple Tape, and Liquid Swords, well, Ghost is there watching all of that. And you find out from the documentary, well, Ghost was actually RZA's roommate. So he's probably the main guy watching these beats get made.
True.
And so he's probably feeling shortchanged after Iron Man. And I can't blame him, because as much as I love the beats on Iron Man, Not messing with the beats on Liquid Swords and Purple Tape. Not at their peak. Like, what's the best beat on Iron Man?
The best beat on Iron Man, in my personal opinion, is Daytona 500.
I think it's Iron Maiden.
Okay.
But Daytona 500 is second to me, right there. I know a lot of people like Fish. I'm like, well, Fish is true master.
What about Kanye?
I love Kanye. I don't think it's the...
Mad Max of the Super Chat says, Tory ain't body Don Q. You gave more credit because he was a singer, LOL. Tory ain't no Drake. Tory is a karaoke machine.
But hold on. But listen to this. Listen to what I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure if Iron Maiden and Daytona 500 even beat-wise make the Purple Tape or Liquid Swords and it's the best beats on Iron Man? You feel what I'm saying? Where does Iron Maiden... like?
No. They make it on there, but it might not be top 5.
Okay. Yeah. So how about this? Name the beats on the Purple Tape that are better than Daytona 500, that are not better than Daytona 500.
Somebody said Black Jesus. Say that again. I'm sorry.
Name the beats on the Purple Tape that you think Daytona 500 are better than. Like, what beats are better? I mean, not better. Like the tracks on, you're like, well, Daytona 500's got a better beat than that, Coop, on the Purple Tape and Liquid Swords. Like, what beats? Because I can only think of maybe 2 or 3 on each one. And that's probably the best beat on Iron.
When I say this stuff, it's going to sound like I'm saying these beats ain't crazy. Even though I think Guillotine is a dope-ass beat, I still think Daytona 500 is better.
No, you're tripping right now. I want to let you know that you're tripping.
No, I mean, I think...
before the people tell you, you're buggy.
It's hard to get past these songs, man. The way that they're rapping on these songs.
You're not going to win the Guillotine Arbit because the Guillotine Arbit is that Wu-Tang moment. Because you hear the Guillotine beat on Takal.
Yeah.
And you're like, ooh, and you get excited. And then the beat cuts off and you're like, what the fuck? Right. And then it comes back on the Purple Tape and you're like, ooh. And then Inspector Deck comes in and you're like, ah.
Yeah, right. Purple Tape's tough, man.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I'm going to tell you the beats that I think the Daytona 500 is better than on the Purple Tape. Because it's not a lot.
Let's see.
The Can It Be Also Simple?
Yep, I was going to say that too.
It's got a better beat than that. And it's a better beat than Wisdom Body.
Yeah, of course. I was going to say that too. I honestly think... I think Knuckleheads.
Spot Rushers?
I think Knuckleheads. I don't know Spot Rushers.
I don't know about Knuckleheads, Mike. Knuckleheads got You God to deliver the best verse. Like, it's You God's best verse.
No. He killed it, but I still think Daytona 500's versus.
I'll give you Knuckleheads. So, like I said, 2 to 3 beats. We just named them.
I think that
Liquid Swords?
Liquid Swords. It's a few beats on there that it's better than on that.
I don't think so. I think Gold.
You're not a big fan of Gold. I mean, I agree with you on Gold, but I like Gold.
I think Gold's the weakest song on Liquid Swords.
Really?
Yes, because it is. As a matter of fact, it's damn near the only song on there that's not classic in some sort of way. Think about it. Liquid Swords, Duel of the Iron Mike, Living in the World Today, Cold World, Labels, Fourth Chamber, Shadowboxing, Killer Hills 10304. Am I missing a song that's not classic?
You know what? I'm going to go the other way with you on
Investigative
this, right?
Reports?
I think that the beats that are better than Daytona 500 on this album are Fourth Chamber, Shadowboxing. And after that, we can have conversations about the rest of them.
Okay, so we feel totally differently about the production that's being exhibited on Liquid Swords, because I feel like the actual Liquid Swords track might be one of RZA's finest moments as a producer just because of the originality involved. Like, Duel of the Iron Mike is classic Wu-Tang shit. Like, Duel of the Iron Mike, beat-wise, sounds like something that could have been on Enter the 36 Chambers. I mean that in a high-quality regarding kind of way. You know?
No, I agree. The production,
Living in the World Today, I remember this. That was on mixtapes and on instrumental beat CDs for cats to freestyle to because the beat was like that. That was one of those cypher beats.
Yeah, man. This production. And you know what?
Cold
I agree
World
with you.
taking the Stevie Wonder flip. Like, come on. They took the Stevie Wonder thing and flipped it. Labels. Tommy ain't my motherfucking... You know what?
But see, just the mood of Cold World.
The Beat the Labels. No. The Beat the Labels. I'll give you the Beat the Labels, too. Yeah. Labels and Gold, beat-wise. Maybe Cold World, Mike, but that's what I'm saying. It's like the originality is so chilling. Though,
I got you. Yeah, I got you. The originality, adds a lot to it. I guess I'm looking at it as if like I'm in the studio and I hear these tracks, I'm probably gonna pick the Daytona 500 track over a few of these.
No, I get what you're saying. You're just talking inherently.
Yeah,
but there's
yeah.
something about, you want to know, that's what's so beautiful about Liquid Swords. It's like you hear the beat and you're like, ooh. You're like, what are they going to do with that? And then you hear what they do with it. You're like, oh, they're geniuses. Okay.
But overall, I mean, you're completely right. Like, Ghost, as great as Iron Man is, when you look at what those albums produced on a production level, yeah, he did kind of get the short end of that.
That's what I'm saying. Like Poisonous Darts.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Marvel. Like, okay. Like, but, you know, it ain't. Yeah.
Where do you want to go next? You want to talk about this Black Star thing, or you want to talk about the Game single?
Either way, we got to remember to plug the homie.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just reminding you because we've been everywhere, dude.
Yeah, we've been everywhere. All right, so the conversation has been, between resume it, let people know that we're back. Okay, cool. Said Coop look like he's about to fuck up the spades game.
Now that does look like I'm about to fuck up the spades game. That last look, it looked like I got like a deuce of diamond, deuce of spades, ace, 10 jack, 8-7.
Okay, we back up. Tell everybody that we back up. I know we had about 200 something people in there. We're down to 150, but you can let people know that we're back. Apologize for that. It was like a little, you know how your power just blanks out real quick? It blanked out and came back on. I was like, oh shit. We have to start all the way over. But no, we're good. Coop was in the chat letting y'all know what was going on. We stay communicated. We still here. We right here. So, okay, we were going to talk Black Star. So there was some conversations that Coop and I had, I guess it was on Twitter and just even offline, of the fact that when people are talking about albums of the year, not a lot of people are bringing up Black Star because they don't have access to the album. And it got us to thinking, was the way that Black Star actually put this album out a bad thing for them or a good thing for them? What do you think? I'm
not loving it for them because here's what happens. Okay. And I realized this when I was talking to my man Holland yesterday. Well, what you really did was that you put yourself in a space where only a core audience of real pure core hip-hop heads and media people who want to review your music are going to immediately access your music. It's not available for the random person to get acquainted with you and become a fan of yours. And that is a problem. And they are doing themselves a major disservice. Because here's what I thought about. Mm-hmm. I thought about all the artists that I wasn't originally fans of, that I ended up being fans of. And you know how I ended up being fans of theirs?
Accessibility.
I had access to go through enough of their stuff. I'll give you an example of somebody who I champion on here frequently and exists in a total other realm. Oh, I wasn't a Rick Ross fan at first. No, I love Hustling.
Right.
That's one of the best hip-hop records ever, but not a Ross fan. But over the course of time, because of the accessibility, I popped up one day and I was like, yo, this dude's pretty dope. I think I need to listen to his project. Mm-hmm. And when you put your project somewhere where it's not available for everybody and they have to pay a subscription to a site that they're maybe not privy to or familiar with just to hear your music, well, I'm going to explain something to both of them that maybe they didn't understand. And this goes for the producer as well, unfortunately. None of you guys have been multi-platinum acts in this industry. You don't have the following that you think that you have. You have a true hip-hop following, which is fair and which is valid. Mm-hmm. How is that following doing you right now? Because here's what happens when you give limited people access. All those people, like, I'm in the minority. I do not feel like their first album was a classic from this head group. Most people who are heads like you and I do feel like this was a classic. So for the heads, this was a disappointment. That's all the people who copped the album because of the platform that you delivered it to. The hardcore heads who think your first album's a classic, the hardcore heads who love hip-hop and lyricism, and the media people. Well, between you and me, we happen to cover all three of those bases, but that shit ain't good enough. So them niggas did themselves a major disservice, and I would like to read Holland's comments.
Andre Shashir says Luminary sounds quality on my end wasn't good. I'm sorry, Luminary sound quality on my end wasn't good.
The sound quality is not good on Luminary. He's right about that.
Well, see, you know, I think, and that was one of the critiques too, is the engineering of the album. I didn't realize that it was the platform. Okay. This is where I'm go ahead.
No. So I'm just gonna go through some of the conversation that Holland shot me. He shot me the Logic Carnival featuring AZ thing Monday at like midnight, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, great album, his best work in my opinion. This is what Holland takes me back. I said, I can't go that far, but it's absolutely solid. He is still underrated. While we were talking, that was personal talk. Boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what he said. This is where we go. We were talking about a couple of other things. He said, supremely disappointed with the Black Star album and put a sad face emoji. Holland's not the type of man that drops emojis, okay? You feel what I'm saying? You know how you know
right.
some dudes and some dudes don't do emoji? Holland's one of those guys. It's like he said it was super disappointing and he dropped emoji. Like that means he's pissed. Listen to my response. This is where I do my work, and a lot of my journalism happens within the spirit of people who I know stuff. I said, really? I said, I loved it. I said, tell me why. I said, this is when you remember when I hit you up and said we need to talk about it?
Mm-hmm.
This is before this conversation happened. He's hitting me after I told you we need to talk about it. I said, we are actually talking about the fact that no one is talking about it on the podcast tomorrow. And so he said, I think it is the worst contribution from all three of them that I have heard in their careers.
Whoa. Why does he feel that way?
Listen, oh no, this is what I mean about how he passed over the Drake thing. He didn't pass over this. I was particularly disappointed in Mad Lib and Yasin Bey. And this is what I mean about he respects the culture. He don't call him most anymore. He calls him Yasin Bey. All right? He said, my other hip-hop heads all hated it too. And that's, I said, wow, okay, I'm going to listen again. What didn't you like? And this is where he goes. He said, I thought Madlib's production was lackluster with samples often popping up under the vocals. Yasin's verses were completely forgettable. It seemed like Talib was the only one who showed up and took it serious. With the exceptions of a few songs, I thought the new Drake was boring as well. Like the last Snoop record, the last two Nas recordings are probably the best things I've heard in the last year.
Okay.
And we went further. Yeah.
Okay, I think there's a whole lot.
Been a DJ most of his adult life, and he's played black venues, white venues, international venues, weddings, like you name it. He can go into the blackest club or the whitest club, and he can get down.
I think that there's a lot to unpack here. First,
problematic.
I want to start with the hip hop heads' perception of this new Black Star album.
Well, that's their following, and so that's why what he said is a big problem, because this is your core speaking.
Yeah, no, and I think that kind of speaks to your point about the accessibility, because if you're going to make, and this is just my critique, you know, I think that the whole Luminary idea in theory is actually a dope idea, right? But if you're going to do it for such a niche market and the people who have been waiting for the second Black Star album, the Mad Lib bass, the heads, then, man, this is going to sound bad because it's going to sound like you're trapping artists into a box. Well, make something that they're going to appreciate, right? But if you're going to go all out and, you know, make the amazing album that I feel like it was, make it accessible to everybody. So like you said, this is where you pick up new people who really aren't familiar with Black Star in that way, because they did, in my opinion, some new shit. And I get the whole thing of not wanting to be trapped into the business of streaming and that light. But this is the thing, man. Like, your album, in my personal opinion, deserves to be an album of the year conversation. It's not in those conversations because of the platform it was on. Let's just be real.
Hold on. And we're taking it out right now because of that. Because I'm going to tell you what. No matter what you think or I think, and I'm going to go back to what we did when we talked about Joe Budden earlier. Well, our credibility and our integrity is on the line twice a week. And I'm not about to assign my credibility any longer if you don't want to give it to the masses, because I think the reason that both you and I rated it so high, Mike, is because we feel like it is innovative and creative and next level. The part about it being innovative and creative and next level and people seeing it that way is giving it to a new generation of people that weren't waiting for a Black Star album. Because I don't feel like the first album is some indisputable hip-hop classic, I was able to listen to this with a fresh ear and a fresh mind. This album needs new listeners, fresh ears and fresh minds. You played yourself.
Dumb It Down says, disagree. That Black Star album is amazing. Album of the year so far. And see, this is the thing. I feel where you're coming from, Coop, because again, according to hip hop is a platform to people, it's hip hop according to you to people. And unfortunately, a lot of the people got cut out of the process because of the platform that this project is on. Now, as
you
far
understand?
as...
I mean, and here's what I mean about credibility, and it's all good. Like, the homie Randall has been blasting me in the chat for months now about my take on the Black Star album. Like, niggas is laughing at me in the chat. And it's like, it's all good and love and jest. And like, we all think of like, we're heads, we got tough skin. We take a lot of cheap shots at each other. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, no, but Randall's making the same point. It's like, no, ain't nobody pumping that shit, Coop.
Man, so and I hate that. I hate the whole system.
And I don't hate it because he's right. I hate it because it's not getting the proper due, and it's their fault. Your career is in your hands. Okay, so that.
Well, I don't think it's. This is my thing, and this is why I say I hate the system. Not to cut you off, but I just want to get this out before I forget it. I hate the fact that I love the fact that they took ownership, right? I love the fact that they took strides in the streaming era to take ownership of music. I hate the fact that we are in such a... we're in a three-dimensional triangle now where it's like you're only going to get your music streaming-wise from three places. And even me, as much as I like the album, and I had Luminary to listen to the album, I didn't renew my Luminary, unfortunately. But for me to go out of my other music apps and go into Luminary to pull this up where it, it wasn't as user-friendly as the other ones, all that stuff, it's made for podcasts. That's a whole nother thing. But again, like you said, you kind of cut yourself off at the knees, unfortunately, because I'm going to do all that to listen to it, but not everybody is. And it's unfortunate because if this was easily accessible, like you were saying with the Rick Ross stuff, they could have gotten a whole new following. Maybe it was short-sightedness to say, you know what, we're going to do it on this platform and take ownership, whereas as great of an album as this is, in my opinion, if it was available everywhere, we would see Black Star on festival stages, which would make up for all of that other stuff.
Here's what happened. There's a few things. This is what I mean. They gave this album just to the heads that feel like, just like people in chat be like, nah, Coop's still bugging. That first album, a classic. Understand? That's your demographic that's trashing this album right now. So you actually need more people like me right now that feel like your first album wasn't a classic like that, because they would buy into this product more. And I'm going to say this very gently and very carefully. What's that Jay-Z line again where he talking about Nas on the Blueprint too? We're going to go back there again.
Because you don't understand him don't mean that he's nice?
Just means you don't understand the bullshit that he writes. Okay, so both of these dudes, part of their image is that humble, conscious guy that you can touch. But I keep trying to tell people this. That's just a look in a facade. These two guys are just as arrogant as Jay and Nas. You understand what I'm saying?
I think you have to be arrogant to be an MC.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. And even maybe more so, because I want you to understand, neither one of these guys has Jay or Nas credentials. Jay and Nas don't make moves like this. You feel what I'm saying?
This is true.
As much as we talk about them, and so, and I say
and this, and you know what? And we just talked about 444, right? Jay did it where it was like 444 was available on Tidal for a week, and then he made it available for everything else. And
Right.
that's what I was expecting with this. I was
Right.
expecting at least the first week, if they were going to do it like this, get the luminary thing going, and then boom, make it available everywhere else. You know, it's unfortunate to the music that, you know, is like I said, as dope of an album as this is, and I think it's album of the year, but it's going to be hard to give it that album of the year claim when most people ain't heard it.
I say this in true humility with what I'm about to say. Oh, you can be humble in your faith and be arrogant as hell in other aspects of your life. I'm not only a client, I'm the player president. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I mean about this whole way that they pitch this. Is like they come off as like the humble, conscious, love the culture, doing it for the right reasons, dude. It's like, nah, fam, you ain't no different. You an arrogant asshole like the rest of these rappers are. And Mike, I got, like, you know, the Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley, whole Michael Jordan running. I got 30, 40, 50 more stories that's worse with rappers. The rappers are actually worse than the athletes. You feel what I'm saying? And they come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. It doesn't matter about what your religious practices are or what your faith is. An arrogant asshole is an arrogant asshole. And I'm not only a client, I'm a player president. And I would know. And I've been humbled by my faith and still know how I can speak and how I can be sometimes. So just be careful when you're signing yourself up for this, because it's like, totally honest, Mike, if we're not doing this podcast, I'm not going on Luminary to buy the album.
You know what? I might not either. And I'm a Black Star fan. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's not part of your everyday thing. I mean, everybody's busy.
I'm not.
Deontay Smith.
Barely, but you know, like,
Deontay
you got
Smith.
assholes and you're arrogant.
Deontay Smith with the super chat says, not going the streaming route hurt Donda too. So I'm not sure why Black Star thought that would be a good idea.
I'm sorry, what did he say? Donda what?
2.
Whatever.
I still haven't heard Donda 2.
That don't exist. That's not a real project. People got to stop. This is what I'm saying. You see, like, stop empowering these people to do this foolish shit.
But you know what? No, I disagree with you. I understand where you're coming from, but I disagree with the premise.
Let other artists get away with this is because these guys have a certain image, like they gravitate or they deal with the people. It's like, no, they don't. They don't deal with you like you think that they do. As a matter of fact, these dudes avoid you more than the other guys do.
Now, see, I guess I'm looking at it from a different standpoint.
The Change Clothes video, because he's still that nigga from the Change Clothes video sometimes.
Oh my God, you're never gonna let him get
no, I'm just saying, like, never forget. Like, man.
Now, this is the thing, man. I have no problem.
Hustle when I see one, that nigga from Brooklyn.
I have no problem with artists trying to take on ownership of their own material, and the fact that, you know, the streaming platforms don't really give artists their just due financially. And if you have an opportunity where you can do things outside of that, I'm not mad at that. But I do think that at some point, depending on the type of project you made, if you made something like this, you owe the music itself and its potential fans the opportunity to reach as many people as possible. And unfortunately, there needs to be a middle ground, and there should be a situation where these 3 streaming platforms just don't have a total hold on everything that we hear in the just how everything buzzes. Now that is problematic.
No, okay, so I feel like this album is going to get pulled up in about 10 years. And people are going to be like, man, this is marvelous. How did we miss this? And Mike, if we're still around, I don't care if I'm in an office somewhere, I'm going to tweet out, because of them niggas. That's why. Just like that, we're going to say, because
well, you know what?
of them niggas.
We just got through talking about Wu-Tang, right? And I think it's a similar concept when it comes to that $1 Million Wu-Tang album. Even though it's not the same thing because those guys didn't know, but just the concept of this is an album that everybody's not going to get a chance to enjoy. You know what I mean?
Right. The only people that enjoyed that album was RZA's bank account. So that's not hip-hop. Okay.
Dumb it down with the super chat says, rhymes sold, I'd probably be lyrically Talib Kweli. Do y'all think that line was a compliment? I never thought it was. And the whole common sense thing. I thought they should have got mad about that, but hey.
No. I actually thought that the Talib line might have been a slight shot. I thought the Common Sense line was more props than a shot.
I ain't been rapping like Common
truthfully,
Sense.
I want to rhyme like Common Sense, but I did 5 mil. I ain't been rhyming like Common Sense. It's like, no, I kind of...
I mean, I get the play on
even
words,
if I don't like
too.
it, I understand. Keep going. As you were. It's a great... Hold on. It's great usage of literary devices.
But it's also saying, you know what, dude? You ain't going to do 5 mil rapping like that. That's how I took it.
And if you really want to go, I mean, go pull up the album sales of Common's like first 5 albums. It's probably about 5 million total. So
that's fine though. You know what I'm saying? You making the music you want to make.
Cool
you know, I've always thought that, you know, those lines kind of just justify the concept of dumbing it down. And again, if that's what Jay wanted to do, fine. But we're not going to sit here and do one of those things where it's like, well, he could have did this. Kind of like what Drake did on that 100, the game song, where he was like, you know, I have all your fans if I stayed on some conscious shit. You know, that type of thing. We're not going to give you points for what you say you could have, would have did. This is what you did do.
Hold on.
And we got to live with that.
First of all, he never rapped like that in his life, okay? He never rapped like that. You know, like that whole intellectual deep... No. He's conversational. He's insightful. He's entertaining as hell. He's charismatic as it gets outside of Big and Pac. But, like... conscious, like sentiment. No, he ain't been that. Keep trying to thinking back when we first learned to use rubbers. He didn't learn, so in return, I'm kidnapping his baby mother. That's the shit that you got famous for. That's super gangster. That's not conscious, nigga. Stop that.
Yeah, Common made songs like the song with Lauryn Hill, man.
Right, Retrospective Life.
Retrospective Life.
$365 ain't worth your soul, as in talking about the price of an abortion. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He was making, you know what? He was making these records in 1997. You know what I mean? Like these are the subjects that Jay would be comfortable with tackling on 444.
Gaining one's definition with CeeLo on the same album. Yeah. Even talking about his popularity increasing with the Stolen Memories thing about his house being broken into with Q-Tip and Black Thought. It's a frantic situation. No, He's touching topic matter on his third album that quite frankly, Jay doesn't touch till 444. Nobody talks about it.
Yeah. Homeboy Blaze says Rock Marcy has a good middle ground. He sells it on his website for 2 weeks and then he releases it on streaming platforms. And see, that's what I thought they were gonna do as well. And there's a lot of people who do that. It's like you go on your website, you know what I'm saying, those first 2 weeks, boom. Bagger Jones says, I think he's talking about Madlib. Madlib naming his album Magic instantly think of Nas. Is it Maggie? Maggie naming his album Magic instantly
like Madlib, Magic. Hold on, somebody made a very, very good point.
So it's Madlib and who?
I don't know.
Okay.
Look, TD made a very good point. Black Star doesn't have a fan base big enough to drop an album exclusively on one platform. That's why I keep trying to tell you. It's like, no.
Well, no. Let me rewind. Not even just that, Coop. Not to interrupt you.
No, please.
You ain't put out an album in 24 years. You can't have a fan base.
No, let's stop for a second, Mike. Because I kept bringing up that fact. I got blasted on this podcast.
No, you can't. You can't have a solid... we're fans, but if you ain't dropped the album in 24 years, how much of a fan am I?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but when I was saying this, weren't people like literally open season on my ass? It's like, oh, Coop, you bugging. I'm like, no, nigga, we don't know. It's been 1997. The first album wasn't like that, nigga.
It's Logic and Madlib. That's actually happening? Or did that happen?
Logic and Madlib? Oh.
Okay. So yeah.
All I'm saying is that when I said these things, people were looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, no, what is wrong with you for accepting this? Because all of this acceptance from one sub-genre demographic of hip-hop has elevated them in their minds to a status that they're not. I
I
love
hate to
most.
say it like that because I love them. You know what I
I
mean? And I'm a
love them,
fan.
and I love most. And you and I both know this, and I don't say this about too many guys. Most Def is a top 10 talent all time.
Yeah.
Maybe top 5.
He's one of the most naturally talented
Maybe
MCs
top
I've ever
5.
heard.
He's not going to make any top 25 list of MCing that I'm ever going to do. You don't have anything that speaks to you being in the top 25. You don't even have more work than Siegel.
Oh.
How?
And he had the promise and everything. And I love Most, man.
Nigga, Siegel done been shot, stabbed, went to prison, lost everything, lost his voice.
Page says, no Killer Priest, Papoose, Cannabis, Cassidy talk. In terms of, did we get around to that Killer Priest album? Was that this year or?
I think that was this year.
Okay.
We can talk about the Killer Priest thing. Like, I love Killer Priest, lyrically speaking. Some of what he does is find the production that matches it.
Yeah. We got to get to this Westside Boogie, man. It's already like 8:30.
I know. Yeah.
I do want to finish up this part of the conversation, man. I mean, listen, I'm stuck in a place because if it's just about the music, in my opinion, and what I know I hear with my ears, I got this Black Star album as album of the year. But unfortunately,
album is you're gonna hear in a while.
But unfortunately, album of the year encompasses more than that, and the people have to be involved in that. And if the people haven't heard it and aren't able to hear it, it's going to be a very hard and closed-minded argument for me to make. I don't know.
Hey, so let's go to like how you go from like the underground to the overground. Well, the streets will let you know. And so we're going to go back to Jay and Reasonable Doubt again. When Reasonable Doubt came out, it wasn't the hottest thing smoking in the streets. There was all types of fire around it.
Yeah.
Outkast had dropped Elevators. Nas is literally out with I Rule the World. Redman's out.
And Tupac's literally ruling the world.
Oh, Tupac running shit. First of all, let's not even get that confused. He's running shit. He's out of jail, he's running shit. That's it. They had a whole coast waiting for him to get off in the studio. I want people to understand this. A coast of musicians was waiting for one man to get out of prison.
Man, Tupac is so impactful, man. Like, I think I'm still learning some of the things. Like I lived it, right? I mean, I was a kid, but I lived the whole thing. But I'm still learning some of the things that this man's responsible for. Like, everybody took everything from Pac. To be perfectly honest, everything. Even if you break it all the way down to like tattoos, you didn't see tattoos in hip hop like that.
How many times do I have to say that if we have a logo for hip hop, who should it be?
Oh, it's definitely him.
Because it's not even a question where everybody got their style.
And now I'm seeing a Spice
One
interview.
after 1990, you took this nigga's style. Period.
Listen. I'm hearing these Spice One interviews where they're talking about Snoop even got the Fashizzle thing from Pac. It was an unreleased record that Dog Pound was listening to in Death Row Studios, and Pac just never put it out because, some people heard it. You know what I mean? And it's like that. He did that too, not to mention the fashion, not to mention he brought Versace to the game, not to mention his whole approach. He brought Double Disc to the game. Like, everybody got everything from this man.
The tattoos.
Everything.
The persona. The song okay, so you go to Life After Death. Okay, Life After Death is inspired by Tupac.
Straight up.
How about
Straight
that?
up.
Straight up.
Straight up. Listen, let's keep it real. If Pac doesn't release All Eyes on Me as a double disc, Life After Death's not going to be a double.
No, the whole formula. No, listen to what I'm saying. See, this is a true... Okay, so Biggie's a better MC than Pac. This is a true master teacher type of thing. Big does what Pac does. He's just a better lyricist and has a better delivery. Slightly. He's a better lyricist and delivery-wise is slightly better. But the formula... Big's formula is not original. Nobody better not ever make it seem like Big's formula is original. That's why Jay's formula is not original. All you niggas taking from Tupac, including Nas.
Even
all
that
you
whole,
niggas.
even that
all
whole
your favorite
thug
rapper,
thing.
Your favorite rapper, my favorite rapper, all these niggas. All these niggas. Wayne, yeah.
Everybody.
Jay, yeah. Big, not run it down.
I even see Tupac and T.I. I really do.
Him. They want to be him so bad.
Becca Jones says if Nas had released Magic January 1st, it would be album of the year. But he didn't. And we talked to you guys about that back in December.
Gave you options.
And everybody said no. It came out in 2021. It should be in consideration for 2021.
We gave you options. Yeah. Which is totally ridiculous because KD2 was winning album of the year. It's totally ridiculous that you did that, but we sided with the people.
Well, speaking of Hit Boy and that whole thing, man, what do you think about the Game's new song, Violence, produced by Hit Boy?
First of all, Miss LB is saying Tupac's delivery is better than Big's. That's not true after Life After Death.
I understand it. I don't agree, but I understand it.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But, no. Okay. All right. What were you saying? That's just no.
Well, you know what? Since we're talking Tupac, and I'm going to go to the next thing after that, man, I was listening to Toss It Up, and I think Toss It Up is probably one of the more underrated diss records ever. And when you think about the fact that he was going at Dr. Dre the way he was, they used the whole No Diggity sample. You had Aaron Hall in there from Guy, who was in a group with... I'm talking about Aaron Hall, who was in a group with Teddy Riley, who produced No Diggity. The pettiness is all over the place.
Oh no, pettiness is hot.
Yeah, and he really went tough at Dre. People don't talk about that enough.
Yeah.
Cross Death Row now, who you gonna run to?
No, Check Your Sexuality, as fruity as this Alizé.
Yeah.
Quick to jump ship pump trick, what a dumb move. Cross Death Row now, who you gonna run to?
Claiming to be hard, nigga, check your temperature. Screaming Compton, but you can't return. Ugh. We don't talk about that enough.
Because you switching the flip to the birds.
Still can't believe that I got Pac. You got Pac rushing.
Listen. This is what I mean. That's that inside information stuff. That's when Dre kind of moved facilities over to Sherman Oaks. Mm-hmm. Right. That is the burbs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Toss It Up's underrated.
You ain't chilling in Inglewood and Watts and Compton and South. You like you ain't chilling. You like nigga. You in Sherman Oaks. You in Calabasas. You over there chilling with OJ and Brentwood, nigga. That's what he was saying. Right.
All right. Speaking of which, man. Speaking of Compton, we'll keep it Compton. Keep it West Coast. What you think about the Game's new song, produced by Hit Boy, Violence?
I wasn't overly impressed with it. I thought it was dope. There was two things that stood out to me. Mm-hmm. A, how many MCs in this day and era are going to drop their single, so to speak, which I don't even know how that exists anymore, and it's just them. That's the first thing that I noticed. It's just him. And here's the second thing that I noticed. He's the most underrated song closer ever. He is an MC. And Jay-Z is just like this. I would actually think Jay might be the best at this, actually. Game is a great, great song closer. As in his third verse, oftentimes, is the best verse on the song. That is hard to do. That is like...
He picks up steam, definitely.
Okay,
but this
Mike,
is the guy who did 400 bars.
Mike, you go to the gun range and you shoot enough clips, it ain't got shit to do with your aim. Your hand and your shoulders might hurt a little bit after a while from firing the clip so much.
Right.
So your aim not going to be the same. Like, you might have hit the bullseye right there, but you done let off about 5 or 6 rounds, and your hand ain't the same. Your handle ain't the same. That nigga handle will be increasing on the third verse. Kind of like, I mean, and not to this level, but you know how it seems like certain players get better in the fourth quarter because they're special? Well, he has that about his third verse capability. We don't get to hear enough artists do 3-verse songs to even know if they got it like that. But he got it like that because I can go to points on almost all of his albums where I'm like, go look at that third verse right there.
You know what? 3 verses is a lost art, honestly. LP says the game uses names like a punctuation mark.
He doesn't really. No. That some of that is conjecture now at this point. He doesn't do that with He doesn't do that with the veracity or the velocity that he used to. So that's not totally accurate.
I think he kind of just does that now to kind of troll the rest of the people who expect it. Seek says Pac overall is the greatest rapper of all time. He has the best 3-album run of all time. You can make an argument for each one of those being his best.
I love Pac. That's not true.
I think All Eyes on Me is his best to me, but I understand it. But like you said, you can make an argument for it. All right, this is what I want to say about the game song Violence. I thought that the snippet was more impressive than the full song, but I liked the song. I thought it was a good song, and it makes me look forward to the album and everything that is coming forth, with that. But it's not one of those things where it's like, yo, man, that was a banger. I got to play that again.
Okay, so
sounds like an album song, kind of.
It does sound like an album song. You took the words right out of my mouth, actually. I was like, this feels more like an album track.
Yeah.
But here's my thing, even with that. So this is what I'm about to say. Do either one of those Black Thought and Danger Mouse songs sound like singles of you, or do they sound like album tracks too? How stellar are those songs?
That's true.
So what I heard was that the album, just based on that, I mean, this is just me. Well, I've heard those 2 Black Thought songs, okay? The game said he had album of the year. Not according to what I just heard, though.
Well, Tom Brady said Pusha T had album of the year, too.
According, don't that Black Thought, when you heard No Gold Teeth, and when you heard, what is it, Just Because, when you hear him, you're just like, oh no, I feel like this could be album of the year stuff coming. The game's record doesn't make you feel that way, but it's a dope record.
Yeah, it's a dope record.
It's a dope record.
Katie says, complaining about the game name dropping is like complaining about Pusha T rapping about Coke too much.
Right.
That's the thing, and that's his thing, and he leans to it to troll haters. In speaking of Pusha T, Tom Brady said Pusha T has album of the year.
I'm tired of the Pusha T cocaine talk. It's like some of my favorite rappers have been talking about cocaine longer than Pusha T because they were around before Pusha T.
This is what I'm gonna say.
I was listening to Purple Tape 2 the other day, Mike. I was like, no. These my niggas right here. They on that 95 Purple Tape shit. That precedes Pusha T.
This is what I'm going to say.
Doing a little Jay Dilla and Raekwon and Ghostface with some brick talk. You ain't going to take no Ghost and Ray brick talk with Dilla doing the beat. Yes, you are. Rapper stepping to me. They want a brick, son. I'm the chef. My price is 26. No, nigga, you riding to that shit like I am. Shut up.
Nah, I feel that, but see, this is my only thing, Coop. And I got to be honest.
Brick talk, nigga. Even Dilla doing brick talk. Stop that.
Coop, I gotta be honest though, Coop. I gotta be honest. I saw a clip or a photo or whatever. I think it was he was performing at something in the water, and it was like he was performing where he had a bunch of fake cocaine on stage, and it's like it becomes a bit much. You know what I mean? Even the performances where, it's snowing, and I'm a Pusha T fan. We share a birthday, all that. It's one of my favorite MCs. I think that coining yourself as this, number one, limits you as an MC, and it allows others to put you in that box where you're not able to stand with the greats that you should be able to stand with. And that's the only thing I have a problem with. I think that it's overblown at this stage.
I get what you're saying, and I think here's where the thing with the former manager really starts coming into play. Will him outing it like that change the perspective of everything? Okay? It's been Pusha T's talk. I don't think people understand how powerful Brambleton is. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There's not a record like that that's ever been made in rap. Okay? Where a guy is... people understand this. It's no, this shit is real. He's St. Mike. You would pay 16. I would pay 18. When I paid 22, still was a great thing. No. That's different talk. That's the humility coming with it. That's a guy saying, no. I wasn't the boss. But stop acting like I wasn't right there.
Mm-hmm.
Who was with you down them hallways pacing? Because the feds watching the things that we chasing, not you. You get what I'm saying? And so he feels violated publicly in a way that a rapper has never been violated about this talk. Mike, you don't talk like this. You don't. This shit get your ass murdered. Like, I really don't know how to say it. You get your ass murdered talking the way the dude talk. But he was also the one that was running the organization, so it's different. And so Pusha probably feels tired in a couple ways. It's like, well, he was the one running the organization. And listen to what I mean. He feels some type of way. I told you how I feel about Hell Hath No Fury, right? You know why I feel that way, Mike? It's the first album that I heard since Reasonable Doubt where I was like, oh no, they not lying and they in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they in trouble about how they talking because, well, if you're an intelligent person and you know some of the things that I know, it's like, oh shit, I hope the police ain't listening to this shit. Because it's like that on that album. I keep telling you, the album starts off with Pusha T talking about a 411 Cuban helped us weather the storm. That's not normal talk. You don't talk like that on record. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's super personal on another level in terms of how that rhetoric goes. But since all of that has happened, he's like, well, fuck it. Everybody knows I'm past the legal statute of limitation on this. He's already been locked up. My rhetoric on Hell Hath No Fury has something to do with him being locked up. You feel me? So there's the guilt about it. And then there's the ambiguous side of it, of feeling guilty because your talk is part of what got him locked up, but his behavior has you outed. What do? Do you stick to your guns or do you turn a new leaf? Well, he stuck to his guns, and so I'm not totally mad at it because, well, that's hustler shit.
Michael Holmes with the super
real hustler shit. He's like, no. Since the nigga want to talk about me live in public, and since everybody really know what it is, and since it's past the statute of limitation legally, well, let's go. Because talking about it when it wasn't past the statute of limitation is how we got here. All right.
Michael Holmes with the super chat says, can we get a Nas versus Big mock versus?
I don't want to do that to Nas.
I'll take Big.
I was going to say, I'll take Nas if you want me to. I'm not excited about that.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm just being honest with you because, Mike, you're going to play some bangers and I'm going to be like, oh, I'm stuck because Biggie's bangers are lyrical.
Yep.
Like, One More Chance? What? Nas has nothing for One More Chance. Or Juicy.
Yeah.
Or Big Papa. Can I interest you in Get Money or Players Anthem? What does Nas have for these records? Because these are great lyrical performances, too, on these records.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what if he starts playing the what? I mean, I'm going to take license. You get what I'm saying? It's a problem.
I would love to choose Biggie's 20 songs. Katie says, violence felt... Hold on one second. He said, violence felt like Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe. Both have amazing beats, but Game and Pusha could have rapped a little harder. Still a great record.
I don't agree. I want to tell you the beautiful thing about Pusha T's album and why I'm really upset with Pharrell and with Kanye. Extremely great rappers sometimes can't do what Pusha T just did on this album, and that's use his voice like an instrument. I'm going to go to the highest level of a rapper using his voice like an instrument in terms of how it reflects production-wise what's going on. Now, the production on Let the Rhythm Hit Him is not as memorable as the first two albums, though, is it?
No, it's not. But the rhymes.
But the way that he is rhyming and using his voice is truly something special to behold now, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's exactly what... Like, okay, so let's go back to Brambleton right quick again.
Well, I love the beat for Ghetto, but yeah.
No, yeah. Ghetto, Mahogany. James Brown samples again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go to Brambleton again. Are you listening to the chords that Pusha T is losing? They're going boom on Brambleton. Boom. Mm-hmm. So you hear Pusha T. This is another great third verse finisher. Mike, he starts vocally using his voice to go with the boom. It was said watching Vlad interviews. Boom. He's literally using the same vocal pitch, tone, wordplay to go with it. Channeled it through me, only about you. Boom. Godfather 2. Boom. It fits in vocally with the rhythm and the sound, syncopization of the music and the beat to the actual artist's voice. It's literally fucking genius. But because the beats aren't where they're supposed to be, you're not really hearing it. Jay-Z and Rakim do this supremely. So does Pusha T.
Good point. Do you want to go? Speaking of which, I want to talk about the Lupe record.
Get Down. I played Get Down in the Jay-Z mock verses. It did not go well. It's definitely not going to go well against Biggie.
So what do you think about...
Not flying with Jay. It's not going to.
What do you think about Lupe Fiasco's Drill Music in Zion record?
I think it's the best single he's released. I think it's the best song he's made in like quite some time. Like, I hate to bring up that Game comment on Dollar a Dream where he's like, I stayed the same, ain't go weird like Lupe. I be kind of feeling that way sometimes. Like, I know cats in here love Lupe, but look here. Don't tell me he's made a better song than this in the last 3 years. Don't you do that shit.
Well, I didn't love the record that he put out. Well, it's on this album, the one he put out a couple of weeks ago.
I didn't love. That's what I'm saying. Like, no, don't tell me this isn't the best thing that he's done in some time.
No, but this record though.
No, this record is fire.
Yeah, Lupe's getting down on it.
This record is fire. It's like, oh, this album is only 10 songs. The first song was like, you're out of album of the year contention. The second song was like, and you're right back in.
Yeah, Autobot. I wasn't a big fan of it.
Yeah, you can keep that.
But this record,
this right here. This is song of the year contender. This might be the best song of the year so far.
You know what? I was just about to say that.
When I heard it, I was like, this might be the best rap song this year so far.
It's up there.
I mean, just inherently when you hear it, don't you feel like it has a more all-time classic vibe than Johnny P's Caddy, which I know has been getting a lot of love for Song of the Year?
Yeah. He's rapping. Let's just keep it real. He's rapping better than they rapped on Johnny P's Caddy, too. And that's just, I mean, that's saying a lot. He sounds good on this, man. We're going to have to
listen to that.
Listen to it again.
No. I refuse to disrespect J. Cole again.
No. I ain't going to disrespect J. Cole.
No. I'm not disrespecting him anymore until people provide me with evidence.
Okay. Well, Lupe's album is dropping Friday, so we're going to be talking about that.
Evidence.
Now, an album that dropped last Friday.
He had no evidence in a while, contrary to our opinion in the chat. He had no evidence in a minute.
Well, an album that we didn't get a chance to talk about Friday, Westside Boogie. Westside Boogie dropped More Black Heroes.
Right.
And the album featured, a bunch of people, but, it flowed very well. Not a whole bunch of people, but one of the ones that stood out for me was Soulja Boy. What did you think about this album as a whole? Because I know you had some really complex thoughts and opinions about this project.
I did, because I enjoyed the project, but it was, I don't want to say difficult too. I just felt like I was hearing other things that supersede this album itself going on. So let's unpack a couple things about Westside Boogie. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's from the West Side. And I don't mean Atlanta. He's from the West Side. He's from Cali. He's from Compton. Okay? Compton cat. I think he's about 30, 31. A few years younger than Kendrick. Okay? So let's start the frame. When this album came on and I started listening to it, I said, first of all, I blame Kanye for all this emotional shit. First of all, it is Kanye's fault. I mean, I'm saying that in a good way and a bad way. For better or worse, the college dropout made it okay for the common man to step on record and express himself with clarity and with defiance, and people enjoy it and make it a thing.
Yeah.
You used to have a story. The story couldn't be that you were dope. Mike, you and I are living proof that being dope and making great records is not enough to get a record deal.
No.
Not. It means nothing. You can be in the right place, be at the right time. You can't. No. You needed a storyline before Kanye.
Yeah.
Because of Kanye, you get to craft your own storyline, okay?
And you know what?
Next to Tupac was what I was thinking today. Next to Tupac, that nigga right there is the most influential artist in the history of hip-hop.
Yeah.
Because all of this that I'm about
this
to say
is my
started
3.
with him. He is the start of that.
This is my 3. Pac, Kanye, and Rakim are the game.
Yeah. No. I'm with
you. That's the game. Like, if you want to sit here and sum up hip-hop all together.
You want to know what, Mike? You know what that is? That's beats, rhymes, and life. All
That's
right
it.
there. Beats, rhymes, life.
Literally.
Literally.
The whole game of
The
hip
whole
hop
game
is
of
Rakim,
No.
Tupac, and Kanye.
That might be the first time we agree on the top 3 of any list.
But this is what I'm gonna say though. That car crash became Kanye's story. And it pushed him. But see, like you said, but it pushed him to open the door where people didn't need a story after that.
Well, here's the thing about it. As much as I love Through the Wire, I don't even know if that's one of the 5 best records on The College Dropout, in all honesty.
You know what? I agree with you from a technical standpoint.
So
but
understand.
From a balls out, risk taking, creative standpoint.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're jumping out the window.
Yeah.
You're jumping out the window.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's what it takes to change the game. You got to jump out the window.
Yep.
And so he jumped out the window. But what I tell you is that what jumping out the window got him was piquing enough interest for you to go listen. And so then you hear All Falls Down, and you hear Spaceship,
mm-hmm.
and you hear Get 'Em High. You know, you hear 2 words, and you're like, oh, I think this guy pretty special.
The producer in him.
Kind of special. Like when he's on All Falls Down, that was the first time that I heard a rapper rap about things that the average person, listen to me, the average person who makes under $50,000 a year could actually relate to every word that he was saying on there. And he still made it fly. Do you know how hard that was to do in rap when he did that?
It's incredible.
The degree of difficulty level is high.
And I think the producer in him allowed him to make, put out, and actually get behind Through the Wire. No regular rapper would ever even attempt to do that.
So you're going to love this. My first thought about this album was Yeezy taught me.
Yeah.
That's real shit.
007 with the super chat. Let me get these super chats and I'll let you finish that. He says, y'all in the chat, chill. A Nas and Biggie mock verses, including all music produced by both up to Biggie's death. Nas, the better rapper. Biggie, the better music maker.
Correct. Couldn't have said it better.
Dante Smith says, what about NWA in terms of influence in hip-hop? Well, we're talking about groups then. But if we're talking about individual people, I'm going Rakim, Pac, and Kanye. But yes, NWA, as far as like shifting the way things went in the game moving forward, as far as on the, I know they didn't create the parental advisory sticker. That was more of 2 Live Crew for other reasons. But when it comes to language and taking that to that next level, yeah, we'll give NWA that. Because when they dropped, shit wasn't the same ever since. But go ahead.
No, so let's take it a step further. This album is good.
Mm-hmm.
What would you rate the album? What would you rate the album?
I need to give it a few more listens, man.
Me too. I was feeling like it was. I knew after hearing it one time, it's definitely a 3.5, maybe a 4.
Because this is my thing. I think it lacks a lot of originality, but you can understand that the person has talent, and you know what I'm saying, the person is dope at what they're doing, and they're telling their story. But like you said, the influences are blaring.
So can we go to the next level of influence, which is Kendrick and Drake? I hear Kendrick and Drake's influence all over this album. Mm-hmm. I can't. Listen to what I'm about to say. The way people have been talking about this album is the proof that you weren't satisfied with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. This is a Kendrick Light album. You weren't satisfied with what Kendrick gave you. And so this is the next best thing that you're going to get out of a burgeoning hip-hop artist who is obviously inspired by Kendrick. And literally, if you track his following, started very shortly, pretty much. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, listen to what I'm about to say, Mike. And I'm not joking when I say this. I've been in trouble with the law a couple times in my life. I might have had a therapist or a psychologist a time or two in my life. Mm-hmm. I need people to get out of denial about this Kendrick thing. He's left a void, and when he came back, he did not fill the void. And people need to stop talking about all this artistic merit and just be honest and say they're not satisfied. If this Kendrick album is what it's supposed to be. We're not even talking about this Westside Boogie album. Do you understand
Well, people
that?
are doing the same thing with the Drake thing, right? They're making all kind of excuses on why, it's not good. Like, oh, you just don't get it. Oh, rap is about to go away. Oh, it's moving in more of a No, he just missed the mark, and it's okay. It happens. And I don't think Kendrick, quote unquote, missed the mark. I think Kendrick made what he wanted to make, and it just didn't connect.
Let's go to my next point.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you know Mr. Morale didn't connect.
There we go.
And so let's start unpacking it right there. And I literally thought about this like a behavioral therapist. And I know, because I've been to one. Once upon a time, I got in trouble. And you want to know what I had to do, Mike? I had to go see a behavioral specialist. You know what they taught me? I'm literally about to share this. I'm not joking. The first step is truly removing the denial and admitting there is a problem. That is the first step to things being okay. So everybody need to stop acting like it's okay. Like the album's great, like it's album of the year. He's the greatest MC. No, it's not. I told you he came outside. He went to Ghana when he got outside and left us with a lackluster, albeit well-written, extremely well-written album. Lackluster. Yeah. You know, when you make your worst decisions, I learned this in behavioral therapy when my ass was in trouble. There's the thing. Yeah, that's right. Going back to my psychotherapist. That's right. Been in all kinds of therapy. Hungry. She had this thing called HALT. My counselor did. A lot of therapists and behavioral medicinal professionals use it. It's called hungry, angry, lonely, tired. It's when you make your worst decisions, Mike. Well, guess what's been going on while we were waiting for Kendrick? We were hungry for a Kendrick album now, weren't we? Mm-hmm. We were angry that it was taking so long. We were left alone by him. So just him disappearing, hungry, angry, lonely, and then what? Tired of waiting on his ass. And this is how you make poor decisions. This is literally a behavioral medical thing. You make your worst decisions when you are hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. And that's what the hip-hop community has been about Kendrick. And this is where it's showing itself. We shouldn't even love this album like that if he delivers the product that he's supposed to deliver. We're hungry, angry, lonely, and tired, and we need to get out of denial. Yeah, we do. We need to get some help.
And so you think that Westside Boogie kind of capitalized on that for some people?
Not intentionally, but he's filling a gap that's not being appropriately filled by the person that we want to fill the gap, because we're hungry, angry, lonely, and tired, and thereby making poor decisions.
Dumbing Down with the super chat says, Little Brother were rapping about broke stuff before Ye. And so was Phil Mob. But we're talking about people who were like super mainstream superstars.
No.
Kanye took that.
No.
Kanye showed that you could do those things that quote unquote backpack rappers were doing and be the biggest artist in hip hop.
Listen, me and Smoke used to have the same barber here, actually. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I used to run into him while they were having their run. And look here, man. Kanye made that shit cool. I'm sorry. Like, he just did. Like, they don't have an All Falls Down or a Jesus Walks. No. They are not superstars. Kanye, when you listen to the College Dropout, you're like, oh, this regular nigga's a superstar, though. It's like, I don't know how, I don't know why, but there's just, didn't you feel that way? It's like, oh no, this nigga a star, though. This nigga a star.
He changed what the possibilities could be for a superstar in hip hop. Because before that, you had to do...
Stop that.
Yeah, you had to do certain things to be a superstar in hip hop. You had to have street credibility, edge, all that. I mean, let's look at DMX, right? You know what I'm saying? When he ran the game. 50 Cent. But when Kanye came...
That was so cool about it, too, is because it's like, Ye kind of wanted to fit in, but he kind of wanted to be himself. That's what All Falls Down is about. He literally says it. We all self-conscious. I'm just the first dude who did it. So when he's talking about the chain and the polo rugby, he's talking about like, no, I want to fill in. And I know this chick named Alexis down in Atlanta. She want to fit in. We all dying to fit in. Well, how do we fit in? You know? But he was able to take that thought in that moment and elevate it. Those guys didn't elevate it. He elevated that.
It's true. 007 says Game did more for the West Coast than K. Dot. True or false?
So can I go to some more of my comments about this album?
I say true. Go ahead.
This is true. Well, the West Coast is notorious for this. I told you, I was out in Cali when the documentary came out. Oh, the same way there's a bunch of baby Kims and you know, and this cat running around. You know what I'm saying? No, I seen it live. The Game had shit on lock like that too. This is what the West Coast does. Do you remember what's the song that Jay took from Super Ugly, the rapper? You know what I'm talking about?
Nocturnal.
Nocturnal. Yeah. Well, Nocturnal was like a baby Snoop. Like the West Coast does like this. When the West Coast rocks, they rock and they will ride a wave and they sound for the entirety of the time that has it on Smash. I was there for Game shit. We seen Snoop shit. We seen Cube shit. We seen, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, this is how it works. And so that's where I realized the void for Kendrick was real, because this Baby Kim album that we like, that he essentially wrote in this album, it's like, no, it's good. It's not filling the gap. It's not the same thing, but this is how the West rocks too. It's like everybody gonna ride that wave and that vibe, because it's a lot of that. It's got a lot of that. How about this? I can tell that he was listening to Good Kid, Mad City when he became a rapper.
You know what? When I heard the intro, I thought Good Kid, Mad City.
You can just tell it's all over it. It's all over him, and there's nothing wrong with it. But when Kendrick Lamar is made to Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City, and damn, and then he drops this and then goes to Ghana.
Inspector with the super chat says Pete Rock has stolen the show production-wise on a lot of albums. Wish Jay used him in his prime. I wish Jay used him in his prime as well. I would love to have heard Pete Rock on Volume 2, 3, even Volume 1. Seek Bex says top 10 hip-hop producers off the top of the dome, no order. Premier, RZA, Dilla, Ye, Dre, High Tech, that's interesting. Madlib, No ID, Knox, and Easy Mo B. I love Easy Mo B. I like that pick. Alchemist got to be in there.
I don't like it. I don't
Your
like
boy Havoc's not in there either.
I don't like. I'm cool with. If you don't have Havoc top 10, that's fine. Alchemist is in there, definitely over High Tech.
Definitely.
So
I got Just Blaze over High Tech.
Premier, RZA, Dilla, Ye, Dre, Easy. That's easy money. It's easy money. Marley Marl.
I was just about to go there.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm going Marley Marl. Oh, say yours again.
Mine?
Yeah, say what you were just saying again.
If I'm just going off the top of my head, I'm going same Primo, RZA, Dilla, Pete Rock, Alchemist, Dre,
Ye.
Where
Marley.
am I at? Am I at 8?
Marley would be 8.
Marley would be 8? Yeah, Marley. Ooh. After that is where it gets rough. DJ Paul.
Okay.
DJ Paul at 9.
What you got Quick in there? No?
I love me some DJ Quick. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That 10 spot, Large Pro, Q-Tip.
Q-Tip, there it is. That's
Q-Tip.
That's done for me.
Q-Tip.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go. Yep.
That's
like that nigga produced the Low End Theory of Midnight Marauders. He did One Love on Illmatic. He taught Havoc how to do drums properly.
Yeah. And really helped a lot with the Infamous. And there's a lot of stuff that he taught Dilla.
Yes, he did. Can I tell you? Can I just say something? I got a hip hop head confession.
What's that?
I love Give Up the Goods more than Survival of the Fittest and Shook Ones Part 2. I always have.
Give Up the Goods is great.
Like from beginning to end.
I still like Shook Ones 2 more.
But from beginning to end, I think Give Up the Goods is better than Survival of the Fittest and Shook Ones. Like from beginning to end. First of all, don't tell me that the drums are not better on either of those records than they are on Give Up the Goods. That's straight Q-Tip.
Well, that's Q-Tip, yeah.
Right, so the drums are better. But hold on, isn't that Noid's best verse on the album?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't both of P's verses on there all-time epic?
Yeah.
Both of them. Not one all-time great verse from P.
As much as I love Havoc's verse on Shook One's Part 2, there's a drop-off.
That's why I keep saying about Shook One's Part. That's why I told you, it's like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm bugging or picking nits, but it's like, no, I'm cool if after you've heard a song so many times, After we get done with Prodigy's verse, sometimes, Mike, I do cut it off and go to the next thing. I never do give up the goods like that because I love the way Prodigy ends that song. You gotta keep in mind, when that shit came out, I was 14 years old. While I'll be drinking gin straight from a plastic cup on 10th Street, my whole crew is famous. You tried to bust your gat and keep it real, but you nameless. First of all, you on the wrong road. Let me show you what it's all about. The street life ain't nothing to play with. No jokes, no games, kids. For years, I've been doing the same shit. Just drinking liquor, doing bids, extorting crackheads, and sticking up the stick-up kids.
Marquez Davis with the super chat.
And I was like, I need to keep my punk ass out the streets.
Marquez Davis with super chat says, Coop, I have a magazine where Biggie said that he was going to retire in the year 2000. I can send it to you, the article information later. Yeah, send it to him on Twitter.
No, yeah, shoot it to me.
I remember him saying that, he was going to be out at 30. I remember him telling Joe Claire that on Rap City, one of his final interviews. Nas the GOAT says, where do y'all rank Game amongst West Coast artists?
All time or like period?
Man, that's hard. I'm going to have to go think about that because the only thing that makes that convoluted for me is, like I said, the constant collaboration that Game has, but his catalog is crazy and it can't be ignored.
Well, he can't MC-wise go higher than third because he's not above Ice Cube or Tupac.
007 with the super chat says, stop it. That gritty funeral feel of survival of the fittest trumps give up the goods. It's the entrance, Coop.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Without your control. Your head bobs without your controlling.
Hey, yo, Queens, get the money, long time, no cash.
Shit,
I'm
great.
caught up in the hustle where the guns go blast. Fool retaliated, so I had to think fast. Pull out my heat first, he pull out my heat last. Now, who the fuck you think is living to this day? I'm trying to tell these young niggas crime don't pay. They look at me and say, Queens niggas don't play. Do your thing, I do mine, kids, stay out of my way. It's tight hard trying to survive in New York State, but can't stop till I'm eating off a platinum plate. Po come around and try to relocate me, lock me up forever, but they can't deflate me because having cash is highly addictive, especially when you're used to having money to live with. Hold on, this go to part. I take a step back. Look at my life as a whole. Ain't no love. It seems the devil done stole my soul. I'm out Philadelphia, Selfie. P's not helping you. Trying to get this Lexus up, plus a cellular. That's better than survival of the fittest. I don't care what you're talking about. That nigga P crazy on there. Like literally crazy. I was like, yo, I think this nigga crazy for real. Like I think this little nigga's crazy for real.
Yo, like, man, I hate to cut it off, but we got to get up out of here. It's getting late. I know we started late and all of that. But I don't go with the closing thoughts too on the album, and I know we were talking about the Maxim thing too. Yeah. So I'm gonna
put
it in the chat right now.
Yeah. Support our homie Sade White. She's actually up to be Maxim's cover girl. She's actually going to be doing some corresponding and some work for According to Hip Hop for some things that we have down in the pipeline future-wise that we're really working out right now, but we really want to support her and show her love and get her on the cover of Maxim. She's super talented singer. She does a lot of creative arts. She owns her own face painting and body painting business. She's just truly a gifted and talented artist. We're happy to have met her and been able to build with her. She's going to be doing some stuff for her soon. Super articulate, talented cat. You know what I'm saying? So we just want to show love and support the people coming into the fold to help According to Hip Hop. I think all of us has seen how we support people. Like I'm wearing my homie's High Spirits bartending shirt. My friend Sequoia Burke wants High Spirits bartending. We're in the business of supporting business of the people who supports us. So support the homie Sade. Let's get her on the cover of Maxim so she can shout out According to Hip Hop at Maxim too.
Definitely, yeah. So I pinned the link to the top. Click that.
Yeah, and hold on, I'm gonna give y'all Sade's Instagram too. It is Shoddy Wizzle. You got the link, Shoddy Wizzle, and y'all can actually go to her Instagram page, and I think she has it set up somewhere in her page for you to click the link and give her some votes. This is the final ballot today for the first round, and she's already in first place in her ballot, so she's already done her work. That's part of the reason why we're kind of reaching out and trying to put her over the top, because she already did her legwork and her groundwork. She's in first place going into the last day of the first leg. So let's push her over the top according to hip hop.
Let's do it, man. And like I said, I hate to cut it off. We having such a great discussion. We talked about so much. Power went out.
We eventually have to go eat dinner and stuff like that. I just want to make sure that we actually got everything and everybody covered, because I feel like we missed something. Did we get everything?
I'm looking at my notes. We hit the Lupe thing. We talked about the Westside Boogie album. Talked about the Drake thing, 444. We talked about Black Star and talked about the game.
Oh, shout out to Jay Skis for reposting positive comments and feedback that we had about him. I was actually going to repost something on my page, but then I was like, no. I'm like, that's corny nigga shit. We just going to shout him out live for shouting us out live. You know, we just believe, like, the same way that I said he's doing work, well, we do our homework too. I listen to people. I love hearing the growth. I want to give credit to the people who are working hard. And so really that's what reaching out to him and showing him that love was. And back and forth with Conway is pretty damn dope, dude. It was giving me those It's On vibes off the Becoming. That's why I made the Siegel reference. I was like, I remember when I heard Siegel on It's On, and I was like, oh shit, he's there. Like, you hear him on the album and you're like, yeah, he's there, but you're not there until you rap with Jay. You know what I'm saying?
On a record like that.
You could be there on the whole album, and no disrespect to Redman. It's like, no, you're not there till you go bar for bar with Jay. When I heard him go bar for bar with Jay on It's On, I'm like, all-time great MC. I'm like, go ahead and stamp that in. Like, because I think he might have out-rapped Jay on that record.
Young run through you niggas, like a glitch in the computer.
Computer niggas. This is Jay every day. No days off. Ferris Bueller, nigga. But this is what I'm talking about.
DC Fred Krueger
niggas. Nightmare, your medulla, nigga. You scared because I blew a jigger? I was like, I'm like, he's there. Hello.
Like a compository sketch. Yo.
Stay honest, I deposit you a check. It's a secret society, man.
All we ask is trust. No G money, shit. All we got is us. We all we got.
Ooh,
yo, I'm gonna listen to that tonight. Man, there with the super chat says, did y'all see XXL freshman freestyle preview? Man, you heard the bars we were just spitting? I ain't checking for that.
Ooh,
respectfully.
I'm gonna tell you something though.
If they got somebody that's spitting, cool.
It's On. It's beautiful. Look at Me Now. It's my favorite Beanie Siegel record, and one of the few records that's ever brought tears to my eyes. Look at Me Now is beautiful.
Siegel's different, man.
Siegel's different.
Yeah.
Siegel make you cry. Like Scarface can do that. Ghost can do that. Siegel's like that. The first time I heard Look at Me Now, I was like, oh, this nigga done made it. I'm so happy for this nigga.
Imperial Stat says, this is one of the best hip-hop podcasts ever. We appreciate that love. We're going to continue to elevate. We got some more content coming. Got some more creative shit coming. We're going to take this shit to the next level. Rap ain't going nowhere. You know, respectfully, Joe Button. I hate that you put that out there in the air, but it ain't going nowhere. We here.
I'm gonna tell you, just like I told Denham when we talked last week, Mike. It's like, no, we going down as the best that ever did it, and I'm not having that shit no other way. I don't play for fucking second place.
Well, there it is. If you ain't first, you're last, right?
You ain't first, you're last. You heard me when I started the podcast. I don't play for second place. Fuck that. We the best.
All right. Well, we gonna holler.